Points to start things off here this morning. Durable goods orders just coming through here. 16.4% in May on the month-over-month number. Consensus for that number was just 8.5%. So huge beat there, upside again for that durable goods number. Again, GDP growth rate, the final reading for Q1, negative 0.5. On that final reading, negative 0.2 was the expectation there. Durable goods orders X, if you take out transportation, for May, basically flat. Just hearing that number coming in, expectation was 0.1%. GDP price index 3.8 versus 3.7%. We also got initial jobless claims there, 236,000. Downside, 247,000 was the forecast. The prior 246,000. A couple of weeks in a row there that print does come into the downside. Continuing claims, 1.97 versus 1.94. So once again, seeing a little bit of an uptick there. The core PCE prices quarter over quarter final again for Q1, 3.5 versus 3.4, more or less in line with expectations. The market kind of shrugging that off. A whole bunch of data there. It might take a couple minutes to sift through that, but welcome in. Yeah, that's what the past couple of days have looked like for the Nasdaq, back to all-time highs as of yesterday. For the Nasdaq specifically, the S&P there or thereabouts, depending on when you look at it. We're just kind of hanging out here this morning, right back at that level, 0.4% right now. A whole bunch of things to talk about this morning. Once again, never a dull moment here. But, I mean, a lot of that data kind of here or there, coming off the past 2 days with Fed Chair Powell not giving really anything away in Washington. I mean, the market didn't seem to care, just marched higher.
Well, Donald Trump's already planning his successor there, Brendo, looking to announce him.
We'll see what that is.
Oh, God. I think what he's trying to do is he wants the market to price in the new guys or the new girls kind of view. Lots to talk about today, Brendo. Micron reporting yesterday, a great report. Down off the highs, though, up 1.89. Palantir striking a deal to make software for the nuclear build-out. Good look there. And Jensen talking a whole bunch of robotics. Nvidia taking the cake. Number one market cap in the world, Brendo, and Meta winning a very important lawsuit. Now, it doesn't apply everywhere, but we've seen this before. Authors as well as magazines and newspapers suing these LLM companies, saying basically you're training your models on our data. So Meta winning a case against Sarah Silverman, amongst others, yesterday. So very interesting.
I also on the Meta front, we talked about this OpenAI kind of back and forth between Meta and OpenAI and Microsoft as well involved in this. Apparently, 3 now prominent engineers have jumped ship.
Really?
From OpenAI. Remember, they were throwing around Zuck was throwing around $100 million signing bonus to jump off OpenAI and go over to Meta. So apparently 3 have now taken them up on that. Why not? There's an interesting note from Franklin Templeton on China this morning as well. They're saying it is officially a buy for China. So we'll see if Chinese stocks react to that. I mean, a few of them positive on the day, but nothing too significant here. Semis, though, back in focus. We mentioned Nvidia, Micron also off that huge earnings report after the close last night, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. But the thing about Micron is it was a good move after market, but we've been giving it back, and you also have to factor in, I mean, a slight downward push just now on disappointing GDP, so you get kind of good jobs and the disappointing GDP. But yeah, it was a trifecta for Micron last night. They beat in the top and the bottom. The guide was good. I know we'll get into it, and the chips all look continuation strong. But yeah, this is starting to sell off a little bit here on Micron. It doesn't make the list for me, and I think it's a lot of the reaction. It was so strong, and we talked about the resistance at 137 and the fact that we couldn't even attempt to break through that, and you're headed right back to where we were before. Yeah, might not be the one here today. You had all-time high breakouts on a lot of things and 52-week high breaks on a lot of stocks yesterday, and a lot of them reverted for most of the session. Like things like, like coin reverted for most of the session until late in the day. You had Palantir kind of reverse a big trend, and there's a bunch of charts that looked exactly like this, and they're all gapping up. So these are strong stocks that pull back. Provide some interesting dip buy opportunities on some very bullish names where they showed you some support on a bit of a down day yesterday.
Yeah, we have Marvell. Marvell was just up 3.5%. The Nasdaq just went to the downside. Marvell's up more than Micron today. Lots of moves happening right now in front of us. It's going to be hopefully another decent day. SMR moving around, and it's just play the right spaces, right? I mean, nuclear has been still remaining pretty hot. What about the crowd strikes and all that stuff like that? CRWD coming through again for $500. There's just Palo Alto. Some of these Zscaler, some of these levels just keep on heading to the high side here. JP Morgan keeps on working. We're going to get into bank earnings, 285. We're going to be getting into bank earnings coming up soon. Look at this move on JP Morgan. It's not just because I look at it because this is the U.S. bank that I own, but this is ridiculous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 straight up days. Although this should be red. That's not up. So anyways, from there to there should not be. Anyways, okay. So as we go, let's just say 13 of the last 15 days or so are up days for JP Morgan as that just continues to climb higher. So I don't, the way this market is moving today should be another up day, it looks like. I mean, we get hit there. The numbers that we just talked about right into here on the SPY, initial jobless claims. Whoops, where'd they go? There they are right there. 236 versus 244, so lower on the jobless claims, so that should be fine. U.S. durable goods, 16.4 versus 8. So, that's not probably what the reason why the market is going down. The trade balance a little worse than expected as well. So, the numbers aren't necessarily the best here this morning, but the market just is paying that off right now, and then we should resume back upside. I mean, in Nvidia, in that trillions, $3 trillion, $4 trillion club. Now Apple, the only other name that's been here, but is not now, down 20% from its highs, Apple. So this is one of the names that we got to watch for, maybe for a negative side of things. But yeah, Nvidia, right back up to the highs one more time. Yeah, AMD keeps going. Google maybe, I don't know. What would we rather have right now? Would you rather have AMD or Nvidia? What do you
think? The next week?
No, for the next
Nvidia.
3 months. Yeah, I think Nvidia.
I think the argument for AMD to outperform Nvidia percentage-wise in a short run makes some sense to me because it has some way to catch up. So I think that's why the excitement's on AMD right now, because it was so much weaker that it's playing a little catch-up. I think it's also the reason why SMCI's percentage gain was gigantic yesterday, but it's also been doing a whole lot of nothing for you for a long time. But you know what else we got? We have a small cap that has a deal with Nvidia as well. So while it's unavoidable, we got to talk about these things. The chips were all strong yesterday. CYN has a deal with Nvidia. You can find that one on the watch list there. Autonomous industry vehicle technology, and it'll be showcased at Automatica. So I know a lot of people are looking at this one in the chat. What's interesting is it was these crazy dark pool wicks, but what was interesting about it is this $12 level is your Yi bag hold area since the split. That's the actual wick top. So it's got a lot of work to do to hold a level like this. So this is one of those multiple reverse split runners. Oftentimes you do see trouble getting through that post-split high. The post-split high last time was right here, but you've got a pretty solid catalyst to see if he can hold it up. It's holding the volume-weighted average price pretty well as well. So this one has to be on people's radar. 25 million in pre-market volume, probably more than that because mine doesn't turn on till 7 a.m. So yeah, chips are even more on watch.
Again, it's the Nasdaq up another 0.38 here right now. The ES up 0.27. I bought some more Nasdaq yesterday. It feels silly to buy things at such highs, but we're breaking out all over the place right now. And I'm actually was thinking about adding more to Marvell. This is the one that AMD has taken off. This is just trying to break through its 200 period right here at 83, and it might get to that tomorrow. And then, you're back up to there to 20. I'm wondering if we can get a double up, honestly, on Marvell. If we can get breaking through here, get into this 105, 110 area, then it's game on for MRVL. So it's already game on for a lot of these chip names. So this one's going upside. Also Broadcom. We didn't even look at Tesla. I don't have, I'll just put it in the chat. I don't, the last numerous days, weeks, I guess, I've always come in thinking that I've had, you know, a big play in mind. And today I don't really have anything. The watch list is fine, but it's not, you know, busting out with tons of stories here. I mean, Meta, Microsoft, they're already stories that we have literally every single day on our list, and it just keeps on pumping higher. So, I mean, you know, like look at this Microsoft trade is, I don't know, man. I don't know, Neil. I don't know what we're going to do about this. But this is like, you talked, I led off with JP Morgan, and it's what the hell are we even looking at banks for? This is $350 up to $500. Like this is Microsoft. It's not like a new story here or anything like that. This is not Circle or CoreWeave or Coinbase or something that, like, you know, we can't get behind. This is Microsoft. I mean, the same thing is true. I mean, Meta is a similar look. This is what I'm saying, like, you know, when you have these ideas to go long these names, it's kind of like, okay.
You know what I'm afraid of?
Like, what?
Remember, so you said Meta.
7.
Remember what Meta did the last time? Like, Meta did this exact same thing back at the beginning it was the beginning of the year, where it did a break and it just up, and it seemed like there were no red days. I feel like I swear it was like 19 or something green days in a row, but I guess this has a couple of red days in there. It doesn't really matter. But it's like it got to a top, and when it got to that top, it really pulled back. I don't wonder if Microsoft, with this boring move
tariffs.
up. Oh yeah, some of that had to do with other things, but I can't remember the last time you saw this where when it does turn, there's like one really big down day when they eventually decide that, hey, someone's like, yeah, we're not buying this one anymore. But if you look at the Mag 7, there's 3 strong names. If you look year to date on the Mag 7, it's Meta's number 1, Microsoft's number 2, and number 3 should be, why am I like, Nvidia. So those are the 3 strong ones. I'm happy to have been a dip buyer in 2 of them, but I was dead wrong about Microsoft. Because like I own Microsoft. I'm like, I'm not buying it. I'm not selling. I'm not doing anything with this thing. I had it in the penalty box, but that was dead wrong. It actually ended up being the best dip buy of the Mag 7. Well, I mean, the Meta percentage-wise in the year, I saw that Meta was better, but I don't know. This recent run looks better on Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft I think is the one Mag 7 name that just keeps on wanting to go higher. I don't know. We didn't even look at Tesla today, and it was 327. So here's another possibility here today for Tesla. Pretty much barcoding here into the pre-market. So we're going to figure out if there's a level coming up. I like 330. We've always liked 330 level there on Tesla, trying to break a little bit higher. So yeah, okay. We have our guest ready to go. It's 8:42, 8:43. I think it's going to be another up day. I don't know what's going to cause this market to come back in, but there's going to be Fed talk. There's lots of things happening today, more numbers coming through, you know, always ear to the ground, tariffs. Remember, we still have July 8th and 9th, which is in the next 2 weeks, where that's supposed to be tariffs, you know, start to take effect because the pause will be coming off. And then apparently there's deals upon deals upon deals.
And then more
deals. And there's so many deals coming.
Extra ones.
We don't even know what to do with it all. Like, you think Adara's been busy on the news? There's going to be so many deals, Neil. So many deals coming. It is going to be mind-blowing.
It'll be mind-boggling.
It's like that black wall of death back there.
I like it.
You know, I remember when we first doing the show, I was like, oh yeah, in the background, we got to have like things that are appealing for people to look at.
We could play wall ball or something. Like get a tennis ball and just go back and forth.
We should just watch Sharif and Joe play some wall ball back there. That'd be fun.
I haven't played that in forever.
We'll get going on that. So, all right, yeah, wall ball on the midday show on the black screen, guys. Let's go back over to the desk. Brendan and Sharif.
We're just saying we should put like a pickleball court back there or something. There's enough room at this point. There's a really interesting note on Tesla. You guys were mentioning it from Benchmark this morning. They have an opinion on the robo-taxis that is maybe a little bit different from everyone else. So we'll touch on that in a second here. But let's bring in Chris Varley from Trade Ideas and get his take on the overall market here. I saw you were kind of nodding along there, Chris, with some of the opinions we were throwing out there, because how can you not at this point? I mean, you know, you brought along the overall market here, a chart of the overall market, looking a lot like Microsoft, maybe a little bit less so, but the overall move kind of in that direction. If there's no audio, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, we have Chris, just stand by. We're going to get back to your audio here. Andre's working on that. We'll come back to you in a second. But I was kind of hoping that everybody else was hearing, even though I couldn't, but apparently not the case. Yeah, I mean, the overall market, guys, just marching higher here, although volatility continues to come downside in a pretty big way. I mean, the VIX, I looked the other day, it was 16 or 17 once again. So typical for a move like this, when we get back to all-time highs or thereabouts, it's not exactly a wide range on the overall futures.
Just saw with the bounce that we just made on the Nasdaq. You know, I'm just going to throw up the Nasdaq futures here because I have a daily chart of the Qs up on the futures. Like you lost prior high and bought right back up. So that's going to be pretty key, like this 22.5 to be able to hold. But I think you can expect some consolidative choppiness when you make a break like this. Like it doesn't necessarily go like parabolic away from it, because what will happen is as you're getting to and breaking resistance levels on the Qs, like you've got the SPY getting the highs, and the other thing that you'll have happening is a lot of individual names which are trying to push that are in the index and they're getting the big resistance. So you'll have like this equilibrium that sometimes will set up where there's just enough being sold and you're not going to get these parabolic moves. So I think the SPY is going to be next, but I really want us to hold it. And like the second I said it, like we're pressing that VWAP again on the Nasdaq, that 22.5. Like I want to see us hold that. But the good news is because of that dip yesterday in a lot of stocks, there's good dip buy levels, and we'll get to some of those. But I believe we have our guest Chris back online.
All right, we plugged Chris back in. He can now be heard, I have been told. So take two here, Chris. Give me, give me your thoughts on
round two. First, you don't succeed, right? You know, a lot of the big nodding came from they started talking about Marvell, and I've had a position in it for a while. You know, in and out, back and forth. And you know, generally, I try to find other ideas. I don't like to talk about things that I'm in. Let's find some other stuff to look at that's interesting me that I'm not in yet. So that was one of the big ones. And then the other thing, when I was trying to come up with what are we going to talk about here, and we're no short of bull stories again. You know, better for me personally. I think it's better for most people. You know, I started looking at a lifetime high scan that I have with the software here, and every name that they were talking about is in that scan. I was trying to find, like, we're always talking about Meta, we're always talking a lot of Broadcom now and things like that. So I was trying to find other ideas that were out there. But, you know, you got that first chart of the SPY up there, and, you know, back to the scene of the crime, you know, when that sell-off began. You know, how many people thought that we'd have a V recovery like this? You know, I'm sure there's some kind of split, whether it's 50-50 or 60-40, whatever it is. But you just can't seem to, you know, outside of these headlines that come in, it was, you know, tariffs and then, you know, geopolitical threats, can't really keep this market down outside of those items there. And, you know, you've got so many stocks at all-time highs. You've got sectors now moving into all-time highs, things that have been leading the market prior to that sell-off, or bear market, whatever, you know, split hairs on those kinds of things. You return to the scene of the crime, right?
Yeah, I mean, the overall, I think it was more about the overall velocity of the recovery versus, you know, where we bounced and when we actually bounced off of that prior all-time high. I mean, just looking at that chart that you had up there, I mean, every single red candle on the way back up has been a buying opportunity.
No, without a question. And, you know, even at that SPY chart, you've got that, I don't know what to call it, small or not, but that bit of sideways action that happened before we had, you know, the gap up earlier this week, and, you know, kind of just continuing to that strength with the SPY. So, you know, we could start moving through the slides here, and, you know, sometimes I'm showing Q slides and the diamonds and things like that, but I thought I'd, you know, move into the XLK as, you know, technology it's on fire again. You know, it's once again on fire going into, you know, these all-time highs. And we talked about the Metas and the Broadcom, Cisco, CrowdStrike. I mean, you could start picking tech symbols out of a Scrabble bag at this point. And you got the XLK in the pre-market here. It's making a new all-time high. And thought I'd talk about a few names that are maybe outside of the scope of a few others. Some maybe sort of trains left the station. Some trains are leaving the station. So I'm going to move into TTM to talk about that, circuit board technology, circuit board manufacturing, essentially. You've got, again, that kind of brief period of sideways action before yesterday's candle. It's got that topping shadow on it, rejected around that 40 level. But, it's a strong chart in a strong sector. I think the more we see, AI plays and things of this nature, you're going to find more plays in this area and strength in this area. And it's one of those stocks that you look in the picture-in-picture chart of that didn't really go anywhere for quite a while. So while, yes, it's made a significant move recently, it's one of those significant moves that's coming out of a very long base. So we'll see how that looks on that for TMI. CLS, another one here, you look at that picture-in-picture chart, you get this big run-up, a big drawdown, so more similar to the market, but not quite the same snapback I think the overall market had. And it's got this nice kind of curling look. Quote Steve Gomez, is on the show from Trade Ideas often. It's got almost that kind of bird in the hand look where it's that bird that wants to take off out of your hand. I like those kinds of visualizations in my mind when I'm looking at charts. And so, it's another one. It's in the tech space. It's moving up into all-time highs. So, just another strong looking chart. And then last but not least, as far as the tech goes, Seagate. And it's another one of those, similar where it dropped, but again, shot right out of a cannon, and, it continues to look like it's poised to move into all-time highs like that. So, those are three tech stocks. I think they're in great positions. They're at all-time highs. I don't have any chart resistance above them. And they're not necessarily names that everybody's looking at this point. So trying to find something a little different. Then tale of two different things here. Return to the scene of the crime. Financials. The XLF, right? It was among the leaders of the market. It's what you want to see in a healthy bull market. And, they're right back up there. It's just shy. It's not quite where the XLK is for technology. But again, it looks strong. You got that gap up. It's held it a couple of days now. We'll see where it goes. And so, you could pick a whole bunch of financial names out of a hat at this point. But just a couple that I thought I'd touch on that are some of the more popular, bigger talk names. You got JP Morgan making itself another all-time high here. And again, I like that it didn't snap back quite the same as the rest of the overall market did. You got that long consolidation period there, kind of running into that curling up into the gap up and all-time highs there again. And something very similar with Goldman Sachs. I know that these are probably, for some folks, higher price stocks that maybe they're not quite into. But, keep in mind the percent move is the same. So, if you own X amount of shares and you move 10%, it's the same across the board like that. I'm a swing trader. I prefer to swing trade. As things have moved forward over the last couple of years, I've really kind of moved away from the day trading. So these are the environments that we want to see. It's tough. You don't know when some kind of tweet or social media post that's going to come out, in the overnight. You don't know what's going to happen in the Middle East or anything like that. So I'm still in a position right now where my share size, I always use this as an example in other things that I talk about. If you're taking 100 shares, for example, as your full position size, you want to reduce that when you're not just quite sure of where the volatility is going to head. And while the VIX, yes, it's to the lower side of things, you just don't know what you're waking up with every morning. So I'm still in that camp where, maybe I'm taking 75 shares or 80 shares instead of that 100 that I would normally take, just using that as an example number like that. So, that's what I have to talk with today. And, again, everything you guys were talking about in the pre-market here as I was listening since 8:30, everybody's nodding their head, I think, across the board here.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting when you take a step back. You mentioned the simple fact that a lot of people maybe not looking at JP Morgan or the Goldman Sachs of the world, but if you approach it from the simple standpoint of understanding what the big names are doing and what the leaders, per se, in each group are doing, that's a pretty good forecast typically for what the trickle-down names throughout the rest of that space, are going to follow suit.
Absolutely. These are the things you want to see in a healthy bull market. Again, we can't account for what's going to happen in any kind of social media posts. They mentioned before, I think Sean was mentioning before, the tariffs, July 8th is a big day for it. All these things are coming, they're out of our control. But what we can control is our risk. You know, we control our position size. We control where we're setting stops. We control how we're taking profits. So, you know, at this moment, you know, all clear. You know, if you've got a plan out there, put it to work. You know, if it's a workable plan, put it to work. And, you know, these are the kind of ideas to generate and look at.
Great stuff as always. Chris Farley over at Trade Ideas. Trader TV 20, Trader TV 25 still live, guys, over at Trade Ideas. Make sure you take advantage of that. Good to see you, Chris. Thanks.
Thank you. You as well, everybody. Thank you. Great show as always. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
And a good friend of the show there.
Exactly.
Thank you for watching, and you know, everybody there, you know, grab that QR code, scan it, link in description there. Thanks, Chris.
Get the deal.
Through. Yeah, no, I mean, I think he's right. He said the name sort of like Scrabble, put everything into a hat and pick one out, and you'll probably find yourself a winner if you're in the right sector. And that's why I talked about cybersecurity, Palo Alto. That's another space that a lot of people don't even look at.
Zscaler.
Yeah, Zscaler, Palo Alto, CrowdStrike, those are all popping off. All the financials, we did talk about those as well. Pick your poison there. FinTech names, right? As long as you have, you know, SoFi or Robinhood, you don't want to necessarily have PayPal or XYZ, but some of those names are starting to pop off. We saw Webull starting to go yesterday.
They could catch up.
All of the chip names.
They could catch up.
Like Marvell, I've been talking about that as well. Like there's everything. Bitcoin, 107, that's nice. I mean, at least
Close
it's
to
up from
highs.
its 99. I think there's lots of possibilities here. I'm having a hard time with the sticky note.
You know what just broke today, as you mentioned cybersecurity? The hack ETF is that's actually breaking highs today on hack. I think there's some better, I'm like hack, if you look at what's in this one, like it may not be your preference in terms of what the biggest constituents are. I keep trying to find something that I like the composition of a little bit better. I just own two names in the space, the two biggest ones like Palo Alto and Crowd. I actually own more Palo Alto than Crowd, wish it was the other way around. But they have the hack ETF breaking it out. Like this is what you love about a bull market. You look left, you look right, and so many things are good. And it's important. What you should ask yourself when in a bull market, if you don't have charts that look like this, something that you own isn't doing this, do you believe in it to play catch up? Because relative weakness gets really obvious in markets like this. And you got to ask yourself, okay, well, a stock like AMD is playing catch up. I'll give you an example. Like, is an Intel going to catch up? It doesn't feel like it. Let's see what the upgrades and downgrades are telling us. Although I have, I think this guy is going to be on the list.
We're going to start here with Micron, MU getting an upgrade from Needham. Nice look here, $150 price target. Of course, they did report earnings last night. Pretty solid report. Then we've got Penn Entertainment with an upgrade from Citizens JMP. General Mills, they reported earnings yesterday morning, so a day two earnings play, aided by an upgrade here from RBC Capital Markets. Then we've got Arista Networks here with a KeyBank upgrade. On the downgrade side of things, ASML. This one had quite the rally, I believe, on Tuesday. Today, they're getting a downgrade from Jefferies Financial. The trade desk with a downgrade from Wells Fargo. Then we have BMO Capital Markets downgrading Equinix. And last but not least, Unity with a negative note from BofA Securities, $15 price target. They resume coverage here. Not a great note. You can read a little bit more about that on our Trader TV watch list. Back to you.
I was gonna mention Unity, but like, how is ASML really? That got downgraded now? Like now you're down, like just as it's making its next leg breaking out. Okay, fair enough. This one, if they want to do that, not that I care about the Golden Cross, but I think that's a Golden Cross. Yeah, I guess it did that yesterday. Who knew? Made a Golden Cross yesterday, gets downgraded today. That pulls back into the 5,200. That's a good buy on ASML. No one trades. You probably don't trade this thing unless you have. I mean, some people might. Maybe you can play options as well on ASML. If you are trading this, and I always throw this out there, just remember that it's an Amsterdam stock. So weird things can sometimes happen at 11:30 when European markets close. But come on, like that actually doesn't seem. That seems like a good opportunity if it pulls back into the major moving average on a downgrade to be able to buy that one. Unity was almost on the list for me today. It was really close, but then there was no volume on it on that downgrade because this, like we talk about relative strength and weakness. This hasn't been good or bad. It's just been sideways. And when I saw the downgrade, I'm like, oh, this could lose. If that loses under here, like 22, that would seem like a pretty significant breakdown. But it's not really moving a ton. So kind of a disappointment. Didn't make the list for me, but that ASML, come on, like that's a buy if it gets back to that 50 and 200 period moving average, right about that same spot.
Here goes that CYN again. Just wow, just gapping basically right now.
Oh goodness.
$13 to $14 right there as 9 o'clock is on, and boom goes the dynamite. Straight to the upside, man. This name is absolutely insane. We talked about their deal with Nvidia here, $5 breaking higher, and there goes CYN. So wow, big movement there. This could be a FOMO play heading into the open there. So you get that reverse split from 6 cents to $10 and back in. So just to get another look at what CYN is doing here, Synogen, I guess. This is what the stock actually looks like. Let me go into a monthly chart or something like this, just to give you guys a look. This was about $12 trillion, and now it's all the way down here. Minus, okay, I don't even know what's going on, but this name just continues to get, whoopsies, a lot of love today, but if you zoom in, you get different look at it. But anyways, as you look, a name that's been absolutely beat up, finally starting to go right there. The short float is probably ridiculous on this name, but there goes CYN. Just for now, just want to give everybody a little bit of a look at, what it looks like on the daily is a little different than what it looks like on our charts because of the reverse splits and all that kind of stuff. So huge move, trying to break out right now. Now we just looked at this at $14. Now it's at $14.50. It actually dipped into 13 there as we were looking at it. So this name is insane right now, up 200%, doing 32 million shares. So watch out for CYN. Just real quick, I wanted to see what the short float.
It's only 4.5.
Okay, so it must not
but
be.
the float's only $1 million. So
That must not be that well updated. Okay, so I put CYNK, but there's CYN right here. We'll go into the details. We'll go into the overview there. And as Neil said, yeah, 4.5 short there. But 1 million float seems wrong too, especially considering the split there. But okay. I guess it went the other way on the split. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. All right, that's what CYN is doing. Congratulations, man. It's $15 right now. Like I just called this up, it was 14, now it's 15. So welcome to the multiple dollar club this morning is CYN as it just continues to move higher. I don't know, I was looking for some shorts today. It's not gonna be CYN. It might be a Tesla, it might be an Apple, something like that. Like I was saying, I'm not overly in love with the board here today. This is not, I am gonna take Chris's advice and probably lower shares today and not hit something as hard as we've been doing with Tesla, AMD, Nvidia the last couple of days. I'm probably going to slow it down a little bit. All right, we can go back over to the desk. We'll figure it out. Good job, Mr. Westermeyer, and everybody that's long this CYN, man. If you're long from $11, 15 might be an area where you
Tisha as well.
May want it. Yeah, to Tisha. Yeah, she was the one that was sort of popping it off there.
I think they're really.
I think Chef Joe and I are really connected with some of the trades that we have on, and he's also wondering about what kind of a day it is. So shout out to you, Chef Joe. We had filet mignon yesterday, little small ones on the barbecue last night. Filet mignon and Caesar salad. So that was it. And then tonight we were sitting around yesterday. It was like 8 o'clock. We're like, man, we're tired. Tonight our game starts at 8 o'clock. I have 6 baseball games in the next 3 days, so
we'll be wrapping up practice at 8 o'clock. Thankfully,
exciting, yeah.
We're supposed to get a tiny bit of rain, but thankfully it's going to end early, so I think we're good to go tonight. Weather should be fine. But let's see how the weather is on the futures.
I wanted to mention this real quick, guys. This Tesla note we were talking about from Benchmark raising their price target to 475. It's like 45% upside potentially for Tesla. So their argument on the autonomous side, on the robotaxi side, was a simple fact that the camera setup that Tesla is using is much more cost-effective than the GPS-based system and the radar-based system that Waymo is using specifically. That on top of Tesla obviously has the manufacturing side of things already set up, and the scalability of this, therefore,
absolutely
infinite, compared to a Waymo. But the cost effectiveness and the manufacturing were the two big points.
So that's the pro side. Yeah. The con side is all-weather availability. Like we've seen these cameras, especially in where we live here, salt, sand, snow, everything covers these cameras. So there has to be a physical device to make sure that the cameras are clean at all times. Otherwise, you can't see, Brendo. So
we'll see how it plays out. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Very, very positive from Benchmark today. On Tesla, let's look at the market here.
61.45, guys, basically closing at exact same level yesterday on the ES September contract. We have a new overnight high, though, 61.71. So here's a deal. We're at 61.62 right now. Let's see. Number one, can we defend that 50-point area, 61.50? If we can't, we're looking obviously at that 100-point area, 6100. If we do defend that 61.50 area, we're going to look 6,200, baby, as resistance.
As always, if you have not done so yet, make sure you jump down to the description of this video, grab the watch list, top link in the description will get you to that page, and then you just need your email address, and we'll send it to you every single morning for absolutely nothing. It's free. We're still up 1% here for Micron, but we are coming back in a bit of a hurry after that huge move after the close yesterday. We give it all back on the conference call, I guess. I mean, overall, pretty good report, impressive across the board. I mean, lots and lots of positive moves from analysts this morning, specifically on the price side of things here for MU.
And very volatile name, we know that. But they did really, really well on the report, so let's talk about it. Adjusted EPS, guys, came in at $1.91. The street was looking for $1.60, so a very strong beat there on profitability. Revenue, $9.3 billion. The street was looking for $8.87, reflecting that robust top-line growth. And total revenue, guys, aside from the beat, it grew 37% year over year, driven by strength in high-performance memory chips. The guide also really good here, that Q4 guide. They're guiding about $10.7 billion, Brendo. That would be a 38% bump year over year, and again, ahead of analyst expectations of $9.9 billion, so a good look there. It's really been driven by data center revenue, and that's a euphemism for AI, which is doubled year over year. High bandwidth memory, HBM, is their product, which is obviously tied to generative AI. CEO Sanjay Mehrotra is saying he's highlighting the ongoing disciplined investments in the technology and manufacturing to stay ahead of some competitions.
This was just one of many here. JP Morgan going to overweight and $30, $35 higher from where we are today on their price target, up at 165.
Look, I think Micron's got room to go. You're not going to complain about anything in that quarter, as we were saying in the aftermarket show was a good one. It was all glowing, and we were excited about it. But it just seems like maybe you run into a little resistance at that 137 last night, pretty much, and it went there to the penny. And this was the biggest drop zone on the stock. The good news, and I was saying this before, like the good news is, well, support down there was at a 127, $10 lower back. You're going all the way back into July of last year, so almost a full year ago. And on top of that, a healthy pullback, you can hold like 125. So like that's so far away that it's not really, like it's not going to make the list for trade for me today on the chip names. Like when we talk NVIDIA, we'll talk about maybe the ones I'd feel more bullish on today on dip buys, because that's a target zone of 125 to 127 that I'm looking for it to settle down. I do not like when this happens on a strong earnings where it just gets sold, doesn't catch a base. We're saying this aftermarket, like, where's the base going to be? Where's the base going to be? And then there just wasn't one. It kept dropping, and it's continuing to drop. So until it shows me something, hopefully that 125 can hold. I think the resume can happen. You give it a couple of days, settling down maybe, and then we can resume the upward trend. You just don't want to see. Sometimes you go up so far, there's profit taking to be had, man. Like all these chip stocks look like this. And if you look at it, Micron is actually more than a double. Like a bunch of the names I was watching, like ARM's not a double from here. Like this was a double bottom. This is more than a double for Micron. So it's just a little bit of a profit taking, it looks like. And I'm not going to try to guess where they're going to stop doing it. Hopefully we'll catch a base a day or two after earnings and then start to resume the long. I think other chip names are more appealing today.
Yeah, I mean, Micron is underperforming what the options market thought it would do today, right? And I mean, I was calling for it being way too extended past the 50-period moving average. I was saying it was, you know, they'd have to have a huge quarter. They did, and this is all that you're getting, 1.5. But I mean, with all those upgrades, Brendo mentioned JP Morgan and a few different names, companies coming in here upgrading this name. So, you know, you're upgrading a stock that's already up pretty huge. I like to stay away from, you know, plays that have had earnings. They're pretty tricky. Like you don't know what, you know, people are thinking right now on this name. They were obviously loving the report, and then it came back in. I don't know what sort of scared them off in the conference call or whatever, but for right now, Micron, it's a good name. It's been really super hot. and it's definitely not where I'd want to look. I want to look at names that are breaking all-time highs, like Nvidia. It has a little number, and then it has a number sign, and then something beside it.
What's that number?
And that's why I want to trade it, because traders need to go over to trade momentum, and right now Micron in the momentum side of things doesn't really have it for me.
Number one.
Circle.
I wasn't sure.
You know what? Circle's not on there today, but Circle has been talked about for us for a very long time. It's bouncing off 200 quite nicely there here today and gapping higher, up 8% right now. You might have had that little down push there in Circle. I still think we get down into here. I was talking about that. I have no idea when. Maybe a month, maybe 2 weeks, but down in here into 120. But for right now, Circle getting some love back upside here. So watch out if you're short this name. Once it starts going, it's going to be tough to stop it. So yeah, watch out for Circle today, up to 212 already.
Nvidia back to the top of the biggest of the big list as of the end of the day. It was actually around midday, I think, when that actually happened. But all-time highs, nevertheless. For Nvidia at the end of the day yesterday. Here we are again this morning, up 1.18%.
Jensen talking a whole lot of robotics, Brendo, obviously making the next phase of the company. So he told shareholders that AI and robotics, surprise, surprise, represent NVIDIA's two biggest growth opportunities, describing them as multi-trillion-dollar markets. The robotics push, though, Brendo, is going to scale commercially initially through self-driving cars first, with NVIDIA's AI chips playing a central role in both training and deployment. And just to give you an idea here of their automotive segment, they reported about $567 million, which is very small for them, in Q1 sales from its combined automotive and robotics unit, but that was a 72% year-over-year bump, but just 1% or around 1% of total revenue. Their Drive platform, it's called NVIDIA's Drive platform, that powers autonomous vehicles like those that are being used in Mercedes right now. But they are looking at expanding beyond chips. So Huang emphasized NVIDIA's evolution into the AI infrastructure company, offering software, networking chips, cloud services. We've obviously heard that with CUDA, their software platform. The new product launches are going to include AI models for humanoid robots, that they call those the Cosmos, and enhanced AI support. So we'll keep an eye on that. And as you mentioned there, taking the cake yesterday, the market cap up to 3.75, outdoing Microsoft and as the most valuable company, still below that 3.9 trillion that Apple hit back in a matter of time, back in December.
I actually saw a few analysts this morning with the 10 number at the front of their projections, that this one could be the first one to double digits in the trillion, guys.
Yeah, I'll buy that. And that makes some sense to me. If someone who else would it be that's has a really reasonable shot the next decade to get there? Nvidia for sure.
10 trillion?
Yeah, the first thing it gets to 10 trillion. Like 5's too easy, because if you're number one right now and you're growing the most, that's an easy thing. But 10, I still think it would probably also be them. Actually, that 3.9 trillion mark for Apple, I would almost venture to say that mark and then 4 trillion will be psychological resistance levels for Nvidia on the way up, which is what I think we're getting. So on the way up here, just when you're watching, like, I'm going to have, when we get closer to that number, I'll try to remember on that day, like 3.9, whatever Apple's top was, and 4, because we have seen that before, specifically with that big, like the 3 trillion mark, the 2 trillion mark. A lot of times a stock will stop and pull back off of big time psychological levels like that. Anyways, that's for the future. We don't have to worry. We do not have to worry about that today. It would be amazing if we did, but we don't. Nvidia's not going to go to 4 trillion today, as much as I would love it to. Maybe? No, it's probably not going to happen. The market's still pulling back here. What I do like is the Nasdaq lost that VWAP, but Nvidia isn't really closing the gap. Yesterday, you really got, like, before you made the early break, you got a dip holding some quality prior highs, but we didn't really break away from the volume weighted average price. It's a bit different this morning in that you're under. And when it's under, then I start to think back to pulling back into prior highs, like under VWAP. Then it's like deeper dips when looking for long continuations, and that goes to yesterday's high. You broke yesterday's top because of the Micron thing, so it's really more like 154.5. I know 155 probably a good target area to start the long. But if we start holding VWAP, then you just go for the VWAP long as well. I don't believe, just I'll quickly throw sort of a similar look here on SMCI. I'm looking at the prior close, which is about, it says 46.6. Yeah, it's about 46.5 is what I wrote down, but technically it was 46.6. I'm looking for that one for a continuation because they're under VWAP right now. When you're under VWAP, I look a little bit lower of a dip buy than I normally would because of the little bit of weakness that the market is seeing. But I'm looking continuation in both those two names for myself.
Yeah, so for myself today, it's I was just like I said, it was a little bit of a rough time to try to find, you know, like those great plays today. But I just went back to the well. I've the TQQs, which is the Nasdaq. I think we want to keep going long there. And then I have Nvidia 154 if we dip. I don't, like we have 15 minutes left. It's not dipping, but we could. We were down at even a buck from those levels. And then the 157 pre-market break. Like, you know, if you just kind of go with some of those plays yesterday with Nvidia, and Nvidia was huge yesterday. It was my number one stock. Besides Circle, like we said, you know, we had a huge trade yesterday, the second biggest trade of the month for me. Circle was first on the IPO, and that was a no-brainer. Don't even feel like trading when you're trading those IPOs. You just put the order in, buy it, and watch it rip up. This one took a little bit more skill, I feel like. But it came back into the pre-market lows yesterday of 149, and that's where we went long. And then we were getting longer on the ramp up into 150 because 150 is such a key level. And then when it saw it, it broke it. And then it had about a half-hour run where it didn't slow down at all and got to 153 before finally pulling back, giving us the 200 period all day. And you didn't have to worry about it. And you have even got a reload there at 330. So I'm thinking a dip down into yesterday. This is why I only wrote down, and I go to Sharif for this and things like that, where the closing price is something that we should be looking at. So when I'm playing, you know, easy levels, 154 is the closing price. So that's where my dip buy is. And then the rip is through 157. Like, I don't really see another trade right now. If we do come back in, we'll look at 154. We don't want to catch a falling knife, but catching a falling knife on Nvidia is a little different, I think, than Tesla. Yesterday, Tesla, we will not talk about that today, it looks like. But, you know, yesterday, Tesla, if you're going to look at that name, that was an absolute, you know, tank job right off the open. I don't just see that for Nvidia. And if we do get something that dramatic, I mean, does it even get past this 153 area that was bought up all yesterday? You had a good report from Micron. There's no point in Nvidia going below this 153 area. So I feel like 154, worth it. I am going to take Chris Farley's advice there and, you know, use a little bit less shares if that does wind up happening. But here's the move for Tesla. It's happening right now, by the way. And, you know, yesterday, you know, like, there we go, man. That's 345 yesterday on missed sales or lower sales in Europe all the way to the downside. You lost $25 there within an hour and didn't really make too much of it back, got up to 328. And look at what we see here. Today's pre-market high is associated with yesterday's top, basically, right? I mean, so, you know, there's a lot of action. I probably should have added Tesla as a short on the list here today as well, but watch out for this name breaking through this 320 area. We do have some decent support down there, but if this market starts to lose a little bit, then, you know, Tesla is primed to get hit even further. So I'm going to sort of hands off a lot of these names until we get a clearer idea of what exactly is going on. The Nasdaq's up 0.37, and it looks like it's just the normal guys. The Meta, the OpenAI, the Microsoft stories carrying this forward. It's definitely not Tesla. It's definitely not Apple today. So if you're going to look short, it would be those two names. But I digress. There's a company called Palantir, which I need to do a little bit more research on. Maybe we should have bought that a long time ago.
Back upside this morning, Sean, to the tune of about 1%. I was just double checking. Yeah, much more than the overall market here as far as Palantir today. 145, bit of a problem, though, in the pre-market so far this morning. Yet another partnership, this time with a nuclear company on the power side.
Yeah, very interesting here. So they're announcing a new partnership, as you mentioned, with the nuclear company to co-develop what they're calling the nuclear operating system, which is going to be a real-time AI-driven software platform for nuclear plant construction. The system kind of aims to modernize and streamline the nuclear reactor build process, making it more data-driven, efficient, and predictable. That's kind of things we know Palantir for. This aligns, though, with the broader energy policy we heard at the Trump administration and the signing of the executive order to encourage nuclear expansion by 2030 to 2050. Palantir's engineers will work directly with the nuclear company to integrate data systems across nuclear operations and support their digital transformation. And this is a very, very clear response here, a strategic response to China's rapid nuclear expansion. Brendo, they're adding terawatts in China, where we haven't even added gigawatts. And by we, I'm talking about North America. We are very, very behind. And so this is obviously a response to that.
I mean, yesterday kind of dwarfing the move today here, guys, for Palantir, but still not bad, 1%.
Well, I mean,
by the power of Grayskull.
so that's the long one.
I don't even have these things on my board.
Okay,
so I really like that one.
I thought there was a shorter one where it was just I have the power.
I thought Alex
not
Karp
the
was-
whole,
I thought
not the
Alex
whole
Karp was
thing.
coming there. I mean, what the hell?
You know what? So just a quick digress. Alex Karp could legitimately play like an '80s cartoon villain.
Yeah, bad guy.
I find like he would fit in on Cops or like just one of the old cartoons we used to watch. But that doesn't matter. He's a good guy in this particular case because the stock is fantastic. Like if you just see what 145 as a double barrel top here in the pre-market, and then it did so. Opening range breakdown and resisted 145. It's not often you get like a flat top like this. So I think it was an all-time, it's also the prior all-time high. So it failed the all-time high breakout, closing beneath. It breaks back out that price. I think you get back into the high of the day. I did like, when the numbers came out, I do like this double bottom that you put it into prior resistance a little bit better. Like I like the double bottom at 141.5 a little bit better than the breakout because I don't think we're in a strong-ish market, but that looks like an opening break. Yesterday, the opening break was good on Palantir, but nothing else was for the long. It was the breakout, and then that was it. Like you took the scalp out, and like every other long after that for myself was trash. So I mean, the breakout, I'll take a shot at it again here today at the 145. It's basically the same thing as yesterday.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I had written down Palantir just because there was the news here. I wrote down 142.50, and again, I was just looking at yesterday's closing prices. Same thing as Nvidia. You know, I think that's been working for me. So if we get a dip down into there, it's exact same levels that we wrote down yesterday on the sticky note. We wrote down 143.50 to 142.50, but then it was the only losing stock that we had any significant losses in yesterday, and it wasn't even really that significant. But we were trying to chase this and sort of support it. We weren't chasing it. We were trying to dip by it every single time. But look at this 50-period moving average. It just kept on. And, you know, this is why I hate looking back at charts, to be honest with you. It's like, all right, well, should have shorted, but you didn't do that. So, you know, you just got to try to learn from your trading. And I don't know, it's different every day, it seems like. So we're just going to wait. You know, for some reason, I'm starting to think like a little bit short today. I don't really know why that is, but all right. So I wrote down here on Palantir, 142.50 long. If we do get a dip buy, which we haven't got too many dip buys opportunities, you know, this morning so far. But if that comes through, look at this move from Palantir yesterday, despite an up Nasdaq, or this pre-market break of 145. Again, it's kind of the same play as Nvidia. I might like this a little bit better than Nvidia because if you break 145, we saw what it did yesterday. It got up to 147, almost 148. It got to 147.50. So if we break that again, we tried to get there right there, couldn't and failed. So it's a risky break because if you don't work, if that break doesn't work, then people are going to have thoughts of this again.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to have to like step out of this trade almost immediately if it doesn't work. So that's, yeah, so 144.50 maybe would be your out on that one. But yeah, so for me on Palantir, I think it's worth a break long. That's for sure. But at 925, we have those imbalances coming out. So we're actually getting a little long in the tooth here with what we're doing. So let's go back over to the desk. But I like that Palantir break of 145. It just may come into play a lot earlier than we think. It might actually happen in the pre-market, in which it does. I'm not taking it.
A bunch of headlines to understand here for not only Meta, but Microsoft as well. Here's a look at the chart right now, 713, it's up 0.6. This was just a couple moments ago. So Meta already had a deal with this company in Venergy. So they've doubled down and they've increased the capacity of the power output that they're going to sign on with them for over the next coming years. There's that. If you go back to, when was that? Tuesday, I think we were talking about the OpenAI angle, and Zuck was offering engineers over at OpenAI as much as $100 million signing bonuses to jump ship and come over to Meta. Apparently 3 have now. So, yeah. I mean, $100 million signing bonuses, like they're making more than professional athletes at
Ridiculous.
this point too.
And that's not even the salaries that are going to come after the signing bonuses. So he's got obviously the nuclear plant there makes a whole lot of sense. If he's spending all that money on AI, he's got to power it. Let's talk today about the new win he got in the courts. U.S. District Court Judge Vance Chabra ruled in favor of Meta, stating that using copyrighted books to train its Llama AI model actually qualified as fair use under U.S. copyright law. The court rejected the author's claim that Meta had caused harm to them, market harm specifically, finding their arguments unconvincing and half-hearted, Brendo. The lawsuit was brought by 13 authors, including Sarah Silverman, who argued Meta used their books without permission for AI trading. The judge noted the authors failed to prove Meta's AI caused material financial harm to their works, so he dismissed the lawsuit. Meta argued in its defense here that its copying was for transformative purposes essential to training open source AI models like Llama. The judge agreed. The ruling applies only, though, Brendo, to these 13 authors and doesn't provide Meta with a blanket legal shield for future AI training. The judge clarified his decision does not mean Meta's practices are lawful in general, and more lawsuits still can follow. Earlier this week, Anthropic had a similar defense that was partially upheld, but the company might still face trial over the alleged book piracy. And we've seen this with OpenAI. I think it was the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal that came at OpenAI back in 23 or 24 early on, and I think that that's still actually pending.
Yeah. The other angle here, Microsoft getting a little bit pushy with the AGI aspect as well, saying they want the rights. So if OpenAI gets to AGI before anyone else, I guess, Meta included, Microsoft wants the rights to that AGI outside of OpenAI. So that beef back and forth heating up a little bit more.
Yes, sir. Just a few 925 hits, so a few imbalances just quickly. Nvidia, small sell 500K, BBAI, small buy 280K. None of these are very big. I thought I saw Circle was there for a couple 100,000 to the buy side, but nothing crazy on the locator. You don't even see a single thing over $1 million on the locator. Like, I don't think, look, Meta's not going to get traded today, but it's been a great dip buy. The #1 Mag 7 percentage on the year. I saw somewhere, I'm like, really? Or was it gain from the bottom? I think it was gain from the, it could have been gain from the bottom either. It doesn't matter. Like this, look, it's them, it's Microsoft, and it's Nvidia. Those are the three of the Mag 7 that are good right now. I think Amazon's probably a little underrated there, but it has some room to go. This is going to get to the all-time high. I just think you're getting there a little slower than the first start of the rally for Meta. It's a good consolidation breakout, but as with all things yesterday that we're breaking out of tops, we just got a pullback day. So somebody seems to be selling it at 715. That's similar to the look at 145 on Palantir, but there's no way I'd take a breakout on Meta over Palantir. I think it's a good hold. I don't think it will get traded today. If I'm looking in the Mag 7, last couple of sessions, Apple has been, I've shorted Apple at VWAP twice, but what it's done before that is go to 203.5 and fail. So this time, I actually want to try to short the 203.5 area as well, and then if it trends down, then short the breakdown underneath the volume weighted average price, which has been good 2 days in a row. So that's the Mag 7 name, not named Nvidia, that I want to trade.
Yeah, I was looking at these imbalances as well because Palantir is trying to get to 145. I don't know if I'm going to do it. No, it's not. I don't think there's anything here. I didn't see it. No. Nvidia did have a move down, but it didn't get down that low. All these wicks are really starting to bug me, but this is the level here, 154, if we can come into that one. Yeah, look, I mean, all this talk is great. I mean, Meta, Microsoft, all that. I think you just want to stay with the momentum in the Qs. That's why I chose the TQQs here for something to look at. You know, it's had a nice move. I was thinking again of the pre-market break here of $80. And remember, the TQs, this is why you don't want to, if I show you there's 80 right there. If I show you a chart on the daily, you're going to see that this name is not near all-time highs yet. And it's because this is that whole, options play, and that how if you're in this name, you're saying, well, why is the Nasdaq up at all-time highs and the TQs is nowhere near, right? It's because you get that options decay when you play with the TQQs. So that's part of the problem. But either way, you have $80 right here. And I don't think it's a, like I said, I don't look at key levels the same way on this as I would on stocks, because this is not coinciding with like the Nasdaq all-time high break. It's just a level. So we'll wait to see if $80 can break through here on the TQs, but that just means that you have to love the Nasdaq. And for the Nasdaq to break highs, we got to get above this 22, basically 22.6. So that's 22,585 right there. Looking for a bigger day here on the Nasdaq with dip buy opportunities coming into $79, which is the 200 period right here for the TQQs. So pretty patient today. We're not going to get a chance to talk about China long. I don't even recall what the story is. Neil and I both looked at each other. We weren't sure about that. But here goes Palantir. It does break. We do take a small little move there. We can go. Do you want to go back to Brennan quickly? All right, let's go back for China quick.
Just Franklin Templeton, guys, putting China as a country back on their buy list. That was really it. Just going back to buy for Franklin Templeton.
Got 98.
Here we go. Market's now open, by the way. Okay, there we go, man. We are into Palantir, one of our top ideas here on the board. So we're in it, and there it goes right now. Let's go. It's another one. We're starting it off today with one, and we've got it right here on Palantir. There it goes, man. It's a quick 50 cents, but this could be a fade and break back in. So just watch out. We are going to take some profits. There it goes. Yes, sir. There it is, Neil. It's already in the pocket, and that is your slapper right there to start off the day. A nice little 50-cent winner. Now 70 cents. Let's take something out. Remember, very, very volatile off the open. This doesn't mean we've seen this happen in Palantir and then the thing drops $5. So just be careful. We're in and out already a little bit here of PLTR. So far, so good on that one. Again, so one of our trades hit at least. There it goes higher.
Yeah, it's the only thing that hit off of the open. By the way, Tesla, huge rally on Tesla at the open there. We'll get to that in a quick little second. Palantir just went to 146. Remember, yesterday, it was a huge, ridiculous reversal, and the top on the afternoon, like on the way back in, was 146 at the open range. So that's a scalp trade for me. I said yesterday, the breakout was the only good trade initially. The other thing that's happening here is Nvidia is not tanking, but it's pulling back into that 155 as well. So SMCI is also at the 46.5 level. So I'm going to go with Nvidia first, and then SMCI back burner.
There it goes, man. Your trade of the day already. We talked about that with Palantir. We said we wouldn't take it in the pre-market, but it does hit just as the pre-market opens up, and there it goes, PLTR with confidence. Taking that trade and now holding it for higher as we go. Let's go Nvidia. We are also long on AMD right here. AMD, quite a move down, man, into 144. We were looking at like yesterday's closes and things like that. I mean, if we break below 143.50, that we can get out of AMD. But here we go. We're long at 144.20 right now on AMD. Nvidia's getting into those levels as well for us. So lots of stuff to look at here as this market is pulling back in pretty decently for the chip space.
Yeah, definitely pulling back. The Nasdaq's broken the volume-weighted average price, though, so like the market is certainly bouncing. We just want to see some continuation.
Let's go.
What the Tesla? Okay.
What the hell?
Yeah, so Nvidia, I'm getting out if we lose support. It's about 154.40 or so, because this is going to the downside as we speak. So as good as Palantir was, this is going to come right back out if we can't hold just underneath the $0.50. Sorry, I just got a little bit distracted when I looked up. I want to get my stop order out on Nvidia. I just looked up and saw Tesla's at $330.
All right, I just looked up and saw AMD is now, was nicely in the money, and we were starting to take some more out there as AMD started ripping and tried to get through 145, but did not. 143.48. That's our stop, man. If this breaks higher, we just took our best fill there on AMD was 67s on the upside, so we only took 40 cents as our top look, and we're going to give it a little bit more room to that downside. Palantir, good outside. We rang the register. You saw the Dollar Club thing pop in there, and we're going to take some more out here in the 70s because, again, the market's giving me some kind of ways here. I mean, I wasn't really convinced today on where we were going. So, and here comes AMD right back in as well. So it looks like we are going to pay the piper a little bit here with this AMD long, as we'll try to get some more. I actually realized we didn't have any bids out there. Here it comes. If we drop through, then it'll be an L to start the day off. We are in the chip space. Palantir working out. It does not look like, I don't know, you're still long Nvidia, but right now it's not working out too well Oh no, it's not.
It bounced back.
Okay,
it bounced back to 155, and then the second it broke 155, I'm talking about Nvidia.
Yeah.
The second it broke 155, immediate dump back through. So somebody's holding it underneath the prior high, like the aftermarket high at 155. So every single bounce, I'm taking some out in front of 155 on these dips, because it needs to break, and then we get to VWAP. That'll be the next level to watch out for. Tesla is. Okay, so now Nvidia is trying to hold the 155. That's good. I know people are looking at Tesla. I'm looking at the chips right now, and I'm trying to figure out. This is a complete and utter squeeze happening in Tesla. That was a $5-6 candle off of the open, right through the resistance. So maybe we pivot to having to look at some Tesla here today for a long. I want this to calm down, though. It could have just been like somebody got blown out of some shorts or some nonsense. I can't really let's not even speculate. Let's let that one calm down. But I might have to pivot and join that one to the long side. If it's going to be a Tesla squeeze day, we don't want to completely sit it out just because we weren't paying attention to it after yesterday's tank.
That's too bad. We were waiting at NVIDIA at 154.25, but it's okay. We did pretty good there with AMD. AMD broke back above 144 there, so we did average into this play. We're just barely up on it right now. I'm gonna take out another piece right here at 96 on NVIDIA. If we can, or on AMD, if we can make a little bit of money and not lose a lot, we'll take that 10 times out of 10 right here. So here we go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see if we can have some diamond hands. Come on, AMD. Get back there to the upside, man. That one. Like we can have a 145. Like, don't you want to at least look at VWAP here again for AMD? I'm going to put another offer at 144.50, and then if we can get that, then all good on that front. As we're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now, because we're able to dip by into something here at least. All right, I'm going to take something else out here in the 20s. There it is. We got some 24s. There we go. It's a daily goal right there met already, so that's a pretty good one. As Palantir continues to go higher as well, that's also in the dollar club, so that's a money trade there for PLTR. Let's get some more out, but oh boy, it is going to be a big one here for AMD. Let's just see if it can go. I just said, don't we want to get up here to 144.50? So there it goes. We're at 144.48 right now. We got missed on that high take there. So, all right, I'll put another out here in the 20s again. Let's see if we can get going. I have an offer, decent offer there at 144.50s. So hopefully that will get printed out. Palantir is working, NVIDIA's, AMD is working. I assume NVIDIA is working as well. As there we go, man. We're just trading mega cap names, but I'm always... Yeah, go ahead. You have CYN?
CYN is halted at 17. Check that, $18, tapped 19.5. Congratulations to everyone that got this one. Yeah, probably it's the one today, no questions asked. They got a deal with Nvidia. If you're tuning in now, the float is only 1 million shares, but as quickly as we were headed back into the volume weighted average price, Nvidia might retest that low. So it's holding the prior high at 154.5. I'll give it one more shot to reload it and then see where we can go from there. CYN absolutely screaming now to the upside. You got to like what you're seeing if you got that small cap, but be careful. Obviously, with 1 million float, it could halt several times. The only other chip name I was looking at was SMCI, and I did maybe miss that dip buy. If it comes back again, right to 46.5 where we liked it, but Nvidia got to the same price, got to my price at the exact same moment for obvious reasons. If we get there again, I want to take another shot if we can bounce. But the market just took out the lows, and I wanted one thing short, and it was Apple. I thought we'd get to 203.5. Apple does not. Apple now breaking the lows. The last time it did this, there was a bounce that broke VWAP and got the highs again just yesterday. So there might be another chance to get into the short on Apple. I don't want to chase it at the low of the day.
Yeah, no, so there goes AMD down. So that one fails. We were able to get out of a good amount of them, but at the end of the day, relatively flat trade there on AMD. It kind of sucks because of the downside pressure there. But you can see what this market's giving us as well. We didn't actually even look at the TQQs yet. It just broke through 79. So I'm not sure. Like the market, I told, remember we sort of our spidey senses were up today. That's for sure. We did talk about that we were a little bit nervous on what we were looking at here today in this market. So yeah, some nice downside plays there. But Palantir continues to work out. Look at AMD, man, really, really bleeding. I don't know. I haven't gotten my Nvidia longs yet, but that must be no. See, it's AMD that's really getting hit now. Nvidia's
back to flat. It's almost red.
Great at this level. So I think we're gonna
relatively speaking, it's still coming back in.
Yeah, but it's holding up great though, considering supporting the market. So I'm going to take some more long here on NVIDIA. I'm going to take a first position long here on NVIDIA, but watch out. I mean, if we do break that low, then maybe we should wait for 154. But no, we're long right here on NVIDIA. Let's see what winds up happening. It's Palantir really that's kicking it right now. Palantir's up $1.70. This is why you want to diversify and not just trade these chip names, but Palantir, definitely a big NASDAQ name. 154, you know, for, like I said, 50 break or so, we'll get out of this trade on NVIDIA, but this is what Palantir's doing. Huge move right now. Was that a call for Adara? Let's go.
900 RKLB. This set new all-time highs, apparently breaking all-time highs yesterday. I can't find any news on this, but it is worth noting. It's got a decent short float, about 16.5%. And it's also worth noting here, no economic data on watch here for 9:45, but at 10 a.m., we're going to be getting pending home sales change month over month. I'll deliver that number for you guys. Keep an eye on RKLB. Really nice momentum here to the upside, just right off the open. And again, no catalyst that I am seeing. Back to you.
What? There's got to be something there. Rocket Lab doesn't usually do that. We have a key for that, but I'm not going to hit it just yet. When we get to Rocket Lab, go for it. Same level, Nvidia, the 154 half just held. Let's see what happens with the seller at 155 even, if they're coming back in. I see some in the 90s, which I'm scalping to that range each time. If we fail to break VWAP, then I might just jump out of this one. And Apple, oh my goodness, Apple's going to break 200. I said I wasn't going to chase it through the low, fail. Apple's a short, should just be shorting it. It just broke the 200. But we just bounced on the market, so I'm looking for the dip buys when we get a bounce in the overall market. So good look on it. I mean, at least Nvidia is holding up. For everyone that's watching Tesla, it pulled back, hit 325, and it's still going, like, it's crazy, the price action. Every time I look at this thing, there's not as much liquidity as normal, so it's just flying around. Let's let it settle down. It seems like that top at 331, I remember 333 is a big level, so that could be a place if you like the fade, but I want this thing to settle down a little bit here. And CYN, the NVIDIA adjacent play, opens up, makes a high at 19.8, now starting to come back in here a little bit. So be careful, this could halt down just as fast as it's been going up. If you were long from any of these early breakouts at 11 or 12, you can't lose taking some profit. I wouldn't want anyone to get trapped. Next thing you know, we're back at the volume weighted average price. A little bit of a heavy ask right now on CYN after the fail at 20.
I think it's important to look back, and we talked about like trying to focus in and look at the best plays, figure out which plays you want to do. There's Palantir right there, 145 break. So it's now $2 into the money right there, and really holding out top right now today. I mean, obviously, this has been, Neil's only been in NVIDIA. I've only been in NVIDIA and Palantir and AMD. So at least I have a couple different names here, but they're not working. The chip names are not working. We just got out. There it goes, breaking back down to the downside. So thankfully, we'll stay flat on the day because of Palantir, but losing there on NVIDIA as it's coming right back into 154 right now pretty aggressively. So we'll wait to see if we can get, I guess a little bit of a lower bid coming in on NVIDIA. And like I said, I'm switching the share size today to a lot lower. Like if we had that ultimate confidence, like you guys have seen me have many times, we would have used many more shares. But here comes Palantir. Let's get some more out on the upside. We saw this exact move yesterday where it flew all the way up into this area and fell back in. So let's put an offer out, get some 33s there. I just punched those out. We'll wait for, okay, here it comes. We'll wait for higher, and there it goes again. Palantir really trying to break longer right now. 250 in the money for PLTR. Man, the fun just keeps on coming through on this big bad name right now. But the Nasdaq is trying to find a way down here at 22.5. Maybe there is a bid coming back into this market. AMD still finding no bid, down to 142 right now, getting clubbed, man. AMD, Apple breaks 200 as well. Tesla, we are now long into NVIDIA 154.
Yeah, SMCI just went red on the session as well. But look, I'm out of NVIDIA. The first bounces were pretty solid, but you couldn't get more than the $0.50. So I got the $0.50 3 times and then just got out underneath the 50. So we lost about 20 pennies. It'll be slightly up on it, but it's still it's trending to the downside. So you kind of get away with the long. I got out of Palantir early because that's how I roll. I thought we were going to stall out right here at 146.5. Good thing we didn't go short. Now you're going to break the all-time. You just broke the all-time high as we speak. I'm still chilling out with regards to Tesla. yesterday at the open was so vastly different from what we're seeing here on Tesla, and it wasn't part of the plan. It's still doing this $4, $5 3-minute candles. It does not want to consolidate anywhere, and you're not really picking a direction either on Tesla. So I have it up. I'm just waiting for it to establish some kind of a trend to trade. At this point, I don't want to give away like the Palantir on something that didn't make any sense. So Apple is what I would like to be short. It's trying to hold $200 here, so I'd rather short back into like the volume weighted average price or 201 here on Apple. So just going to be a little bit patient with trying to catch a bounce and then fade into it as the market's headed lower.
All right, it's an absolute monster again. Let's go, man. Let's fire it off right there. There's the sticky note coming into play again. Neil, I have no idea why we ever go against some of the levels that we write down there. We wrote down 154 for Nvidia, though we're long right now, 154.20, 40 cents in the money on a much bigger position now than we had on any other stock at any point during the day. So it's a nice move up there for Nvidia, but let's make sure that we do capture some profit because it's still not trading the best. So we're going to wait to see what happens. It still is up on the day. Maybe Nvidia does climb into all-time highs again, up there to 157. If that happens, and that's an oh boy moment. We are now $3 in the money right now. And Neil was right, man. He was not expecting this, and nor was I. But there it goes, man. This is why we do hold on to these trades. And I mean, look at Nvidia right now. Again, back to our daily goal being met there on Nvidia as we just continue to run higher and higher. We have about a third of the position we had on yesterday on this name. But hey, if yesterday was a good day, then today is a decent one. As there goes Nvidia up to the upside. There goes $3 on Palantir. There goes a monster move. So we're going to be 2 for 2 on our sticky notes here today. And big day alert again over here. I feels crazy saying that all the time, but like you guys can see the trades that are coming through here. There goes Palantir and there goes Nvidia. So yeah, the trades are over and we've got them. So, thank you guys again for watching all this. This is why, like, we definitely don't cover a lot of the runners here, and the guys on the midday show do. This is what's happening with Studio 8, man. It's going to be more discussions, more talk, all this kind of stuff, and let me cook with some of this stuff, let Neil cook with his stuff. But right now, there goes Nvidia. We're almost in the dollar club as well with Nvidia, and it just faded out a little bit there. We got to 155 and then gave it a little bit back. Let's take some out. We just got some more out there at 155, but here we go again for NVDA, man. It's here, we're here. It's another big day, man. You got the salmon shirt on. We've got the smiles going. We've got the fun times. It's going to be a good one. Filet mignon last night, 2 bangers today, and it's upside from here. So what's going on over there? CYN for you? Or
2 for 2 so far, but I'm just be patient with the third. It's the third name is going to be SMCI or Apple. There's no question. Those are the names on the plan, so I want to try to stick to them. If Nvidia comes back and can maybe break the trend, and I'll get to that in a quick little second, but SMCI, it's now trying to hold that 46.5 that we like, but look at it churn through. If you got the first bounce, yes, it bounced exactly where we wanted, but we were trading Nvidia at that moment, and we were trading Palantir at that moment, so that's already happened, and then it made a fresh low. I wanted holding above 46.5 before we get back into that bad boy. And then what I'd like to see in Nvidia for a little bit of a gain would be hold a higher low, break the trend to the downside, which it's trying to do. So I think it's got a good chance. Those are the two that I like. I like VWAP on Palantir, which is sort of an obvious continuation play, but still I have one short that I want, and Apple couldn't get to VWAP there. It broke 200, started to look really strong above the 200 level, and then just dumped when it got to maybe the $0.50. It just dumped right back underneath the 200. So Apple maybe a little bit weaker than I was anticipating. I might take a shot at the 200 level, but away from VWAP, it's a bit of a chase. It's like smaller size, tighter stop. I don't like being in at the bottom, but I do want this short at some point. And with the market threatening to go red, there was nothing else that I liked to the south side. So I'll probably do some hunting to see what else might be weak, but this was the only play that I was thinking short on anyways.
All right, everybody. BBAI is also going up. Come on, you guys are just teasing at this point. Trying to get me in a good mood. Jeez, wow, there's the face slapper again on BBAI. Wow, man, it's always great when like the PA is popping and what we're doing here is popping. This has been such a wild ride, man. I want to just, again, thank everybody for being here. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Keep it going, man. I'm going to refresh the stream, see how many we do have on with us right now, because you got to make sure that you do hit that like, that subscribe, and everything. So there it is right now. We have over 800 likes. I mean, give it up for that Palantir trade, man. I mean, that's, leaving people speechless. It's great trading off the open there for Palantir. Nvidia, not so much. Nvidia's great. Nvidia, I'll actually be up more on Nvidia than Palantir, to be honest with you. But here it is right there. All 10,500 of you. Let's get this up to 1,500. We always like to get 10%. I want to thank everybody for being here. Again, where did I buy on BBAI? I see that right there. 420 is my average price. We bought 543, basically all the way down on Big Bear AI. So my average price is about $1 in the money right now. And there it goes. It looks like it may it halt soon. I don't know. But nice move up there on Big Bear AI. Palantir has just been, a dream, and Nvidia obviously continues to struggle down at some of these levels. But thanks everybody. There you go, 1K coming in again for that. The Tesla short, we talked about that yesterday on the kind of move that it had right away. I don't think it's a short today, despite look what the market's doing. The market's heading to the downside, and Tesla's actually holding out pretty good right now. So for me, relative strength or not, I'm going to wait on Tesla and wait to see if there is any possible movement there in the name. It's really just Palantir. I have 5% left. That's it. Like, this name came right up into yesterday's high, and basically is fading off of that. So we're happy with that. We're lucky that we got that 148 fill. What a beast, man. That was a $3 winner. It's like every day we're putting some of these on. Good job, T-Money, there on BBAI. I mean, I've been sort of shouting out Big Bear AI now for a very long while. So that's probably a really good price on that one, 347 for BBAI. It was hit yesterday, not hit today, man. Up again to that 530 area. So good trading there. Here comes Nvidia right back to 154. If it breaks 154, we're gone. That could be happening right now as the market is making new lows.
Yes, it is. But shout out to Prop XP, everybody. Level up your trading game with Prop XP up to 1 to 200 leverage and a static drawdown. Scroll the site and pick your challenge at propxp.com. Trade directly on the platform, sign up, try it free, and start your trading journey. Enjoy rapid payouts and real human support. No bots. Rated 4.6. Is this right? There you go. 4.6 stars on Trustpilot, trusted by traders worldwide. Get 50% off with the code tradertv. Link is in the description. Scan the QR code you see on the front of you right there. Shout out to them, obviously. So we took our first shot in our first L. The longs both worked out on Palantir, though I said I'd take a shot with a tighter stop than usual on Apple because it was at the low, but I want to see if we can't get that VWAP after all. It's also yesterday's low, by the way, so pull back into yesterday's lows and the volume-weighted average price to boot. So that's a couple of levels we're looking at there. I know you said Tesla, maybe not looking for the short again here today. I'm open to it at that 333, which is the big level, but I don't think we're going to get a second shot at it. So it's likely to be Apple for me to the downside. And Palantir, I was looking for the bounce off VWAP. VWAP's a line in the chart. The break initially got to 146. This looks eerily similar to yesterday. But what I want to see is bounce and consolidate over. I don't mind if it consolidates over VWAP taking a shot. You got to be able to get out if it looks wrong, because that's what happened yesterday. You got a good bounce, and you could have had a flat trade or a small win, but you have to have your out. It's on the way down, so patience, patience, patience for sure. The Nasdaq is threatening to go red here. And when we look back at what is strong and what is weak, there goes Micron, red on the day. And I said maybe we don't have a chance to get down to 125, so I did what I trade it. Well, Micron is now $1.50 away from the 125 level. So if we get down there, I'm going to take a shot at dip buying it. It seemed like a low probability. That's why I said I doubt I'm going to have that trade. You're 1% away. This could easily happen today.
Oh, man. All right. We bought more Nvidia down here at 154. I'm scalping it out. Like, I'm literally taking like 15 cents on Nvidia. It's we put on more shares there because we had 154 protection. So I'm just getting out right here, like in the low 20s, mid 20s, and I'm actually going to take another piece out right here. This is the benefit of trading a little bit bigger share size against a level that you trust. You can scalp it out, still remain positive, and here we go. Let's go. Now we can get going. I think I'll buy some more if we break above 40s here. There it is. I'm going to buy some more right now on Nvidia. So there it is. We did buy some more and add to this position. So we're adding to our 154 long right now. So let's see how high we can get from here. But that's an add on 154 right there for Nvidia, hoping to break through again. So there it is. We're getting uber aggressive right now, Neil. And there it is, man. It's a face slapper back in there one more time, man. We're trading like we're trading like a lot, but we're trading really responsibly, I feel like, again today. The growth, honestly, like in how I feel that my trading's been, has been just leveled up. Like I hope that you guys, can sort of see some of the ideas that I'm trying to do and how patient we're trying to be now with the trade, and then holding on for these big winners. Because I want a big shout out to Adam DeLuz, a big shout out to Sharif and Joe and Neil and everybody around here that continues to support, this growth. Because like even when I was in London, I was talking to Adam and I was like, I can't figure out how to hold things a little bit longer, but it's just like, with using more shares and getting more comfortable with some of the levels and just trusting some of the reads, it's really, really helped out. And it's just been absolutely monstrous. Like, I keep saying it, but every month seemed to be getting bigger and better. And it's just been a really great exponential growth in trading. So I just, want to thank everybody for all the help and everything that we're feeling, because for me it makes a big difference, right? I mean, like I just basically single income, doing this, 3 kids, bringing this show, hosting, doing all of this kind of stuff, podcasts, all this. It's like, and trading. Thing is, when you love what you do, it's easy. So, but it's also nice to actually put up some numbers, right? And I mean, to me, that's the most important thing about trading, is trading for profit. And that's what we're doing right there. So it's a nice one, man. It's a face slapper. See, now I feel like I shouldn't have been getting out so much for quick, but then we added to the 40 break. So that 154.40 break, very, very key. All right, let's go back to Neil and cheer on some SMCI.
Well, SMCI for the first time is trying to hold, but it doesn't seem like it wants to do it just yet. It's made a higher low, which is what I'm working off of basically here, not the actual low of the day. It's a previous candle that I like to work off of when we're taking a bit of a mean reversion, but you can see it headed to the downside. It was the other name that I liked in the chip space, along with Nvidia, which is only now, it's a weird trend line, but it still is one. I have it drawn on my other chart, but not here, where you've got this nice breakout happening. My level did hold the first time. That's great, but it didn't the second. Suddenly, you're right back to 154.5, looking like a hold. The 155 stellar could still be in play, but I don't mind joining this in other places. I can get back in above VWAP. I can get back in on a pullback, but SMCI is sort of like one thing at a time there. Oh, I just had some cantaloupe in my teeth. One thing at a time. So as we get up to the volume-weighted average price, respect where the resistance has been on the stock, which is right up here about the 70 to 75 level on SMCI. It also is trying to go green at these price levels. So we get there, great. Palantir, I guess a bit of a nothing burger on the dip buy. It just lost VWAP. It just lost 46. Maybe it's all the way back to the 45 level, but you're just reminded about yesterday, you really had to let it drop. And when it caught a bid, it held for quite some time. For actually like 10, 15 minutes, it held the 144. So maybe that's what has to happen on PLTR on the way back into it. So far, SMCI looking pretty good. On the initial trade for myself, only 2 chip names I liked, and I guess we traded them both now. Just need to break out the top here like yesterday.
All right. We'll get a coffee in a minute. Big Bear AI up 12.5% right now. There it is. Nvidia, baby. I know Neil was on this earlier, but we were very, very patient, man. All we did was go over to our note. Thing is, man, the sticky note's getting so popular. That's like we're all gonna have the same trades. Nvidia 154 dip buy right there. That came in. There's the Palantir 145 break. So those are the 2 trades. And then the only stock that I'm red on is going to be AMD, which we didn't even have on our note. So again, this is what I'm talking about when we learn together, right? So, but right there, look at that, right back up to VWAP. Would you take a look at that? Right there we have this thing do something. Nvidia is doing something, that is for sure. So I'm going to get out some more outs here at VWAP. We took another out there at 135 because it's a dollar club and it's really been another great morning. We're up about half right now of what we were up yesterday at this time. But again, yesterday was, I told you, we doubled our month there. So we're doing good again here today. It's just with confidence, it's more shares, right? And I said that with Chris Farley today when he was on, and I was really respecting what he was saying about potentially lowering the shares. And I did do that for sure off the open. But then when we came into some levels that we liked, you know, we put on a comfortable position, about half of what we normally would have. Like if this was yesterday's Nvidia trade, we probably would have had double the shares on. But again, still very, very good trade. And that's the thing, right? We had Mitch Hoke from Trade the Pool. And nothing actually, profit doesn't actually, like all these trades are easy to make when you're in sim mode, or people were mocking, like when he was using that 100 share example. Sure, if you're using lesser shares, sometimes it is easier to hold, right? But that's how you learn, right? You can't always just level up and start using more shares. You actually have to prove to yourself that, you know, these trades are working, right? And at that point, you want to start to level up your shares. So, I mean, look what Nvidia is doing right now. It's absolutely ripping. Look at the market, absolutely ripping. So we have the right names, we have the confidence, and we have the trade on. And that's, you know, what trading is all about. And as soon as you start feeling more confident about your trade, that's when you can start, you know, upping the shares. So the fact that this fell into our level of 154 meant it was go time. And there it is right there. It's now 2.5 times daily gold. 10 seconds left. Let's go over to Adair for the numbers.
Oh. We're just waiting here on pending home sales. Month over month just came in stronger than expected, 1.8% versus 0.13% expected. It's also stronger than the previous print of negative 6.3%. So that's the month over month change. Pending homes index here, 72.6 versus the prior print of 71.3. Other economic data on watch today. There isn't much, but be aware there's a 7-year yield. It's going to be coming through here at 1 p.m. We'll also get White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt speaking at 1 p.m., so stay tuned. Nasdaq, nice little push up here, though we're still below these pre-market highs for the Qs. Nice recovery, though, off of these lows of day. S&P 500 actually above its pre-market high, so a little bit of a discrepancy here in terms of how they're trading between the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq right now. Keep an eye on Micron, of course, with earnings day one. Nike reporting earnings after the bell. Palantir on watch. Palantir and Coinbase, both names trading near all-time highs. Coin waffling near these highs. Palantir pulling back a little bit. And then we have CRCL. Nice recovery for this one off of basically 25% drop in 2 days. 15% to the downside on Tuesday, 10% yesterday. But today, a nice attempt to climb higher for Circle. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Jesus, yeah, nice move there on Circle.
Your Circle is going absolutely ham. Remember, just because it goes down one day doesn't mean it's the top of the stock. We saw that with CoreWeave. We've seen that with, we saw that back in the day with Reddit as well, but all these IPOs. I'll get there in a quick little second, but just going to quickly throw a trail in. I don't feel the same way about the rally today that I did yesterday for sure off of this open. Like, I felt a little bit more bullish on the way back in. Yesterday was a different type of day. Like, I'm looking at SMCI and that trend reversal, and we're already running into resistance at the opening range high. And that's also yesterday's top. So if we lose that, I want to be out looking for that low one more time in there. And just to circle, because I know a lot of people are looking at different names here, this is now $25, $30, $30 from the lows, and absolutely blowing people up. But what's interesting to me is I paid for locates, and I said I liked CoreWeave yesterday, but then CoreWeave was actually gapping higher, so I didn't bother taking it. Yeah, CoreWeave's the one that's selling here today. Broke down. It's a flat bottom break. I would venture to tell you this is the one that's not squeezing. It sold off maybe worse than Circle. I'd have to double check the percentages, but this one looks like it's weak, down 1.8%. If you're itching to short one of the recent IPO names, my suggestion would be to take on CoreWeave instead of the one that's ripping faces off. As much of a hero play as it is to short tops, you'd rather be with the trend, everybody. So good luck there. My trail's going to just move up as we get into the high. Now I'm going to move it into the 47.20 on SMCI. See if we can bust through the top. But it doesn't feel necessarily the same as the prior day. And by the way, as far as Palantir goes, it still hasn't made a satisfactory bottom for me to jump back into the long. We're all the way back to 45 where it broke out from. 2 days in a row, 45 breakout has reverted back to 40, essentially to 45.
So I now have 1% left of Palantir. If it breaks lower, my stop on this Palantir trade was a break back down below 145. So the fact that we were able to take $3 on this trade is just like basically silly times. All right, I'm gonna now, just because we don't have that many shares, we might as well just get out on a 145 break. It was a little bit lower, it was 144.80s, but I'm gonna go 144.99 as my out right there for the last 2% of this trade. We still do have on the monster trade. Like I said, man, this P&L wise again, Nvidia is going to be, that's back-to-back days that this was an absolute monster, and there goes 156 right now for PLTR. All right, your heart will beat 100,000 times today, and every beat is a data point. AIML Innovations under the CSE ticker AIML, and on the OTC market, AIMLF turns that data into potentially life-saving insights with max yield and AI engine. Wow, there goes NVIDIA, just broke 156. It's an absolute face slapper. An AI engine that filters noise, labels each heartbeat with lab-grade precision, and shrinks ECG analysis from days to minutes. Their mission, revolutionize how heart disease is detected, monitored, and prevented. Learn more at AIML Health and follow at AIML_INNOVA, Innova on X. Okay, thank you. We want to thank them for sponsoring this segment of the show. I want to thank Nvidia for sponsoring mortgage payments and all the Starbucks that my kids drink and all this kind of stuff, because there it goes again, man. Huge move up there for Nvidia. It is your trade of the day. It is right here listed on the sticky note. Couldn't be more happy to obviously have this trade as it just there moons again. It's Nvidia. It's a big time play here. Almost 3 times our goal there, and we're having just 2 really great days on NVDA, so let's just keep the momentum going. And it's exactly what we said here on our sticky note, and it was, let's not get in the way of this. All-time highs already made. Let's just go long Nvidia. We had to wait for it, and boy, was that worth it, man. The 154 just came in like right on our lap right there, and where did we get it from? We got it from yesterday's closing price. And again, thank to everybody for checking out the sticky note, man. It's always the #1 looked at thing here at Trader TV Live. So there it is, Nvidia 154 dip. I mean, we're doing it every single day here live, except for tomorrow. Tomorrow you can get all this excitement again with Neil and Obi. So probably going to be a great show there tomorrow. What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye here on TSLA. We know this had this name at the push into the open that was kind of unexplained. I might have found a reason. So this upgrade came out this morning, but I'm really only seeing it republicized and circulated now. Benchmark hiking its price target for Tesla from $350 to $475, citing the successful robo-taxi launch. So TSLA, that might be the reason for this push to the upside off the open. I haven't seen anything else, but I just wanted to provide that piece of context and color. Back to you.
I think it got squoze on Tesla. It just seems like a bit of a squeeze, like an excuse for it to get back into the upside. I'll get to that chart in a quick little second, but as you can see, SMCI got meme crazy, clearly, and you know what? This morning it's been simple. Nvidia, SMCI, Palantir, taking L, shorting Apple, but it's worthwhile. We're 2 for 3 the last 3 days on Apple. I wanted to take a shot at the open, but I will be reminded that on Apple, the success I had in Apple was shorting it off of VWAP when it confirmed the downward trend. But I took my shots. In here, tight stop, in here, tight stop, and that's what you want to try to do. Like, it's okay to be wrong, it's not okay to stay wrong. So what has worked the last couple of days has been doing the old get in, get out, stick to your strategy kind of deal. There's Palantir. I don't know why I type Palantir New York every now and then, but like, it's coming back. This is what's frustrating about it is the good news is I didn't try the dip buy on Palantir. But it's frustrating that the market goes all the way back to the top. The other plays go, like SMCI breaks it out, Nvidia pretty much breaks it out, and then Palantir, which usually is like the strong one, is going all the way back into the lows. So we're just going to have to let this one really settle down at some point before we can catch something. Micron, I do see you, it's FJ? in the chat, Micron is now under 126. The only place I'm looking for a bounce on Micron is 125. So it's going to have to drop a little bit further. And I don't want to see a falling knife. I want to see a bottoming tail candle or a mean reversion, like a trend reversal trade. Again, I'm not really all about like putting that bid in there on a stock that wasn't part of your plan. To me, that's not the setup I like. If it's going to be something that was a secondary, then I want a much more clean entry. Like I don't mind it on Nvidia because Nvidia is Nvidia, sort of rounding into the longs. But once that opening rush has happened, I want something like a trend breakout or a bottoming tail candle to be the entry point. So on SMCI, plan will be look for the pullback, hopefully not to VWAP. We can hold the morning range highs at 47.5 and go for the continuation long there. Micron 125. Not really sure what we're going to do with Tesla just yet. Might not end up trading any Tesla. And shout out to you. Thank you, Christopher Mulligan, for the super chat. Why does Shop always do this every damn time? Does it do this? It doesn't do this every single morning. I'm not really sure what the reason for Shopify falling apart is, but it has, as you're right, been doing this every single time it has broken 114, but only a couple of times, and made a new high. It's pulled back. The good news is, if you look at this daily chart, those are still all higher lows going into that top. So until it breaks that little trend line down, you're probably okay. To me, that just means you're buying dips instead of buying breakouts on a stock like this until it loses support. So you just got to be careful. When a stock shows you it doesn't work on a breakout, then you shouldn't take the breakouts. I still like Shopify generally.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. I mean, if you're, you know, and that's the thing that we talk about here all the time as well, is like if you're noticing something is happening over and over again, then don't be afraid to like keep on that sort of track, right? Like don't just leave a trade. Like if it's working, get over to it. If you're seeing something's been happening on Shopify every single day, try it, you know, and go for it. And then eventually you'll get the confidence to use more shares and try to get something going more aggressively on that front, right? So and on that vein, I'm sticking with the plan of action, and that is long Nvidia and out of Palantir. So boom, boom. Nice move. All right, so Coinbase, although Bitcoin and Adara's working on, we talked about our monthly update on our thing there, on our picks, but Coinbase, another 5%. Like, I can't really wrap my head around this name. This has to be another squeeze happening right now. So for me, I'll be selling at least half of my Coinbase position in the long-term account as soon as this show is over, because I just don't believe in this move and why it's happening. I don't have a problem. I mean, I'm long the stock. I like Coinbase. We're long way lower than here, but I just think this is a huge move up, and even in the long-term account, at some point it's getting ready to sell. And I think that even when you look at a name like Uber, we talked about this the other day, it's up to 92, and I really, really like the story, but I really haven't sold any. And, you know, I was going to say, like, profits sort of should trump conviction. Like, you shouldn't be too greedy when you get the move that you want. Nothing wrong with getting out of a percentage of it, 20%, 30% of a name like Uber, if you're thinking, okay, you know, we got our bids down here, we're already long, and now you brought it all the way back up here again. Like, the market has a way of punishing those who are greedy, and shout out to Jim Cramer as pigs and hogs get slaughtered. So we're not trying to be like that, and that's why we're getting more out of Nvidia, as Nvidia right now, $1.70 change now in the money on NVDA, breaking out right here. Into day's high right now goes Nvidia. So here it comes, man. We're just landing this plane, and it is a profitable one again. We're almost near what we were at yesterday. Not really, but as far as the Nvidia trade, yes. We had a couple other ones on. Palantir still going to be a big one. AMD, Palantir, Nvidia, the names that I'm trading today. And then I think we're going to have to, do we have a 1010 update or something? I don't know, maybe 1020. No. But Big Bear AI, I'm not on it today. Yesterday we were long. We were long the day before as well. We'd probably break even if you consider both of those days. Yesterday we had a losing day. But remember, we topped out yesterday. So I think that that's also happening potentially. Like, sorry, it wasn't yesterday. Yeah, it must have been yesterday, because that move happened later on in the day. Okay, yesterday's top out happened immediately. Oh, that's right, we lost because we were dip buying. We wrote down 515 yesterday right there for an area on Big Bear AI. Today, maybe that 515 holds or so. But, you know, VWAP, the 20 period, and the 200 all present for Big Bear AI. But yeah, so so far so good there. Let's just wait to see what happens with Nvidia. And just as a side note, man, we have 7.5% left of our Nvidia trade, and daily goals met a while ago. We're approaching a 3x kind of day again for me. So so far so good. Okay, now was that a call for Adara?
Yes, it was.
Then let's go.
So to let you guys know about Altimmune, ALT, this is down 54% right now. This is showing up on my scanner, which is why I pulled it up. Trying to push to the upside here, but running into some trouble at $3.50. Basically, they had some mid-stage data for their fatty liver candidate, which was not particularly well received. One of the issues is apparently 9% of the participants actually discontinued treatment. So keep an eye here in ALT. This one has a pretty hefty short float as well, about 32%. Make sure to like and subscribe. Back to you.
Very much, Adara. So we're in this. Daniel, I'll get to that in a quick little second. Daniel, I haven't asking me about AMD VWAP short. Did I miss that? Look, it wasn't part of the plan. SMCI long at 40 off of the 46. The previous close price in the 46.5 area there. That gave us a trade. We're in Nvidia and out. We're in Palantir and out. I took a shot at Apple short. Like, those are the only 4 things I've had. I'll get to AMD in a second. But that pullback on SMCI doesn't seem to want to extend to where I wanted it to, which is all the way back into either VWAP or the opening range top at 47.5. But again, those are just targets. You're getting a good consolidation here. I just don't like these candles for entries. It's just, for some people, that's what you like to see. I like to see something a little bit tighter, where if I'm looking for a reversion on a bottoming tail, I get the bottoming tail candle, and then the second I see it holding, I can just punch this breakout, and then you can go stop like right under that. And then I get 1-to-1, and then you can hold. Like, that's the style I'm looking for. I don't really like the entries up here on SMCI. And chasing when the market's not breaking out, we saw what happened there. I mean, so yeah, obviously in hindsight, you could say missed the short in AMD at VWAP, but I wasn't even thinking short in AMD today. If I was going to take, I probably, if I didn't have SMCI and we weren't looking at Nvidia, maybe I would have taken an L trying to long this name. What I would note is you've got something happening here at 141.5. Opening range, dip buy, also VWAP. So maybe you catch a bid there, but that's a big maybe. I don't want to be fighting trend on anything. That's the difference. It's one thing to get a good mean reversion where you're breaking the trend and on a stock which is trending up, but SMCI is up 3 points. Nvidia is up a point. AMD doesn't look very good. It actually looks pretty strong. So I don't think you have to fight those, and you might as well not do that. But that analysis for you guys brought to you by 3D Capital, everybody, because you can invest in every sector that you love all in one stock. 3D Capital, that's IDK on the CSE. In the US, it is IDKFF. It's a risk diversified basket of 60 plus vetted investments. Get founder level exposure, the kind most investors can't access, in some of the hottest sectors: blockchain, AI, IoT, information tech, biotechnology, natural resources as well. It's led by a CEO whose last venture returned 150x. 3D is currently trading at a discount to its asset value per share, and they're actively buying back into leading shares. The world's highest returning investments usually come from founder-level access. Think of 3D as your ETF for early-stage disruptive innovation. Scan the QR code for more information, everybody, for sure. So just very quickly, let me go back over to Palantir. You know what I'm looking for on SMCI. Wow, right back in. It is absolutely uncanny what is going on right now in Palantir. It's like 2 for 2 taking breakouts. Yesterday might have done better with the initial long, but the fact that it reverted this and wasn't even thinking short doesn't really matter at this point. I don't care too much about the bottoming tail wicks. If it's going to go long again, it really just has to do something like that and then break the trend out. Like, make a bid, consolidate it, give you some kind of a trend, like SMCI did that as well, and then try to take the breakout, something along those lines. I'm seeing what's going on in Circle. I'm just not seeing anything that I want to rush back into at this point to give anything back. No, you didn't say Keon. Is that Cohen in the chat asking to short Circle? I'd look at CoreWeave respectfully between the two if I was thinking short. This is when this stock is going up, I'm thinking long. And I would rather not. Clearly the last couple of days since the 300, you got distinct lower high, hold lower high, flat bottom break, hold the resistance, hold underneath, trend, like that's, it's a trending stock. This is the ultimate trending stock. And anybody, you can do whatever you want. I pay for locates on this every single day, and I don't think I've shorted it once. They're really cheap at real trading. But this does not feel like the day that you want to be getting out in front of Circle. It seems like it's on one of its benders. So good luck. Good luck if you do. There's certainly a ton of upside if you can get that one right. Like it's probably not a bigger risk to reward short than Circle. I just don't like the risk myself. All right, so the SMCI, let's see if this dip gets us some kind of a better consolidation down here instead of these wick and then run where it doesn't even hang down off support.
All right, cheers. Where did your coffee go? Where's your
no, I put it on the.
Oh, okay.
I still have the.
We got reloaded.
I have coasters that I actually use here.
Yeah, we got reloaded in the coffees right there.
Not that we need them.
Yeah. Well, it's more of a habit thing. I don't.
I use them. I use coasters.
I don't drink coffee. I was talking about coffee. You're talking about that.
I mean coasters.
Where's your heating pad?
There's nowhere to plug it in.
Yeah, I know.
There's all these cameras and all this stuff that we plug in. So I don't have a plug for my. I have like a mug heater, which would be useful. Oh, I guess
your downside. Yeah, things are starting to go down. We talked about Micron possibly being red.
It is.
So I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So that was the thing. I called that yesterday. It didn't look right early, but it looked right late. There on Micron, and then and then we're going to go to Adair in 1 second as we have 15 seconds until sector recap.
Small cap recap.
Small cap recap. That's what I said, I think. But right into there, Nvidia. Just watch out. It's a 200-period moving average. We are getting some more out as we go. But here it is. It is small cap recap. I almost forgot it again. It was 10 seconds ago. With Adara at the desk.
Just be aware here, not a small cap, but this AeroVironment is running right now. AVAV trading around $265. That's the 15-minute chart. There's more details on this, I'll let you guys know, but I just saw it pop up in my scanner with 14 RVOL, so I want to let you guys know about AVAV. Let's talk about IWM, which also looks pretty good here. Going to pull into that 214 level, though definitely below, I guess, some of yesterday's highs and pre-market highs. Right now, again, up 0.81% for the Russell. Let's talk about BLNK. This name back above $1, though right now actually kind of oscillating between the dollar and that 99-cent level. On Tuesday, they named Alex Kalnin, their managing director of Europe. No news on it for today, but just under 25% short float, so pretty significant short float there. Here's CYN. This one, of course, mentioned pretty heavily earlier. Syngin announcing a partnership with Nvidia to showcase autonomous industrial vehicles at the Automatica 2025 event. And last but not least, SLDP, Solid Power, has rallied in the past. I couldn't find any news on it, but certainly a name to be aware of here, SLDP. And if you like the small cap coverage, definitely check out the midday show from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sharif will trade a lot of small caps on there as well. Back to you.
Yeah, for sure. Like they'll definitely cover more. We did cover CYN early, and it is you want these ones earlier. You can make money buying dips on those, but if you feel good about buying a dip that after two downward halts, 15-20% away from the volume weighted average price, then that's something that I would never do. It just seems like these runners, they don't give you the setup later in the day where you're getting dips and consolidations that are remotely reasonable. Like it's just you're essentially having to catch a falling knife to get these things late, which is a pretty dangerous game. But congratulations to everyone that had this one early. And look, if you made money late on it too, that's absolutely great. It did not halt to the upside on any of these moves, which doesn't make sense to me, but that can be a good sign that you're getting higher lows back on CYN. Palantir is starting to look a little bit better here. It just broke the trend line. This is not what it did yesterday. Yesterday it consolidated before breaking. This time it looks like you're just getting a little bit of a program buy here on Palantir. So if I can stop out underneath 144.25, which I can, maybe this can give us a fill in front of the 50s on PLTR. I kind of thought we'd be getting back in SMCI on a dip first, but Palantir, if this can get to VWAP, that'd be just fine.
Look, I love spending time, obviously with family, and I coach the rep major girls team at High Park. And tomorrow we're on a tournament that we won last year. And I feel great about going there, but I feel kind of crappy about missing trade. The trading has been so good, but I trade for the family. So it's kind of like tomorrow you're going to be in great hands with Neil and with Obi. But there won't be any sticky notes or anything like that. But you can check out Neil's notes, and I'm sure Obi will be talking about that kind of stuff. So, and then we'll be back on Monday. But then Neil's not back, but I have a bunch of days coming off as well. Yeah, look, I talked about Oscar the last couple of days, saying how I like the name and yada, yada, yada. And it did fall back into a level yesterday of $19. That was a buy, and I missed it. So yeah, no, Sebastian, don't worry about it. We'll be here. We'll be here. You got Neil, you got Obi, you got the Midday Madness, of course, coming through. Adara's going to be here. Brendo probably. Yeah, there goes Oscar right now, breaking through 21.50. I mean, again, I think this is going to be another possible long on that break right there coming through again. So watch out for that kind of a play coming on OSCR. Pretty soon there, Oscar Health. So I like the name. I know that gets a lot of social media. A lot of social media behind that name as well. Okay, let's go over and do this then real quick right now. If you did want to level up your game, make sure you do scan that QR code right there to grab Trade the Pool. We got a behind the scenes look at Trade the Pool. The dashboard tracks your progress in real time, live stats, profits, and more. You can break down every trade, see your entry, exit, and how it played out on the chart. Check the certificates page for your full summary, achievements, and payouts. In this clip, this most famous Michael T has already earned over $75,000 in total payouts. Trade the Pool gives you the tools and the capital to go further. If you're ready to level up, visit tradethepool.com, scan the QR code right there. It's the only way to get 10% is by scanning your QR code. Oh boy. Okay, like again, I am very tunnel visioned in the trading because it's been working, and I have to focus with what I've been doing. And Nvidia right now, I'm going to kind of let it go. We only now have, I was looking down, we have about 7%. We have like about, still a little bit. We only took out a little bit there, about 6 to 7% left of this trade. So let's try to find out if there's anything else that's hitting on any of the scanners. So here's the trade rate by e-signal that I like to look at, because I look down at my notes, the TQs are already gone. We wrote down here on the TQQ that we wanted 79s. Well, that went to 78.50. We could have punched 79 on the way back. You know, that, I'm just looking at the sticky note, that would have been here. Palantir, we already have. That's already the number 2 stock. Nvidia is the number 1 stock. Nothing's going to catch that. And then Apple short, as Neil's talked about, missed opportunity all over the place with Apple, although Apple's at $200. So that might be something right near on the trade rate with Apple as it's showing its head again here. Wow. Okay, didn't even notice this. If you're looking short on Apple, you should be short on Apple right there at 201. That's an absolute no-brainer trade there. So I'm going to slap the fail on myself. Just looking at the very first thing on this trade rate was the easiest short you could have had all day. So there's Apple. Tesla also, ABEV, we're not going to worry about that. There's Circle, huge move up, man, 224. I said in the beginning of the day that we were not going to short Circle at all there today. And if anything, I was like, watch out, man. You don't want to stay in the face of this thing. But Circle, nice upside move. Eventually, I think it will, calm down a little bit and we can try to get that short. But you'd like to see a barcode a little bit and then lose, because right now, if you're going to go short now, it's got to go against 227. So that move against 227 is $2, and I think it'd be worth it, but this can hit that $2 mark almost immediately, especially with the Nasdaq now taking out highs here one more time. Micron, again, as you guys asked me yesterday, what was the call for Micron? I kind of gave it to you, I thought anyways, that we were looking for the short in the earnings call, and then the earnings call kind of was decent. And we had an upside move, but now you can see Micron pulling right back in. Their Circle just bounced again off that level. Maybe there is something about that, but here's Micron straight to the downside. So it looks like if you were in that trade, hopefully you're out of it as you're into 124 right now. But yeah, man, it's just Nvidia. It's just everything trying to do good here. Let's just watch, for the rest of the day. There's a little bit of a look at some of the stocks. I see I don't know if there's anything you're looking at, but for me, whatever, we're at 3 times our goal.
I just went back to one of the better ones this morning, which was Palantir, but it tried to break the trend to do the whole patented pullback into the volume-weighted average price deal. But as you can see, it could not hold. And ultimately, it broke trend here. Rules stay the same. Even if I don't get the right price on the entry, I keep the exit like I know where I'm wrong on the trade. I don't move where I'm wrong just because of where I happen to buy it. If I buy the move late, the stop remains a stop. You just got to keep it that way. But look at it go right back into the lows. And then it was Kurt will get to CLH. I believe it was, I'll miss the name in there. I forget who it was just asking about SMCI. I just haven't seen something I like back in. Like the same thing that we just played on Palantir for that small hit was the same way that I traded SMCI. It was just bottom line, a bottom tail, break of trend, VWAP, and then it just went meme crazy into 48. I was sitting at 48 when it happened. Didn't even have a chance to move a trailing stop or anything like that. And now you're getting topping tails at 48.5. I think for the next trade in SMCI, I'm kind of waiting for it to do some kind of a legitimate pullback that I can pull a mean reversion on again, or like in the afternoon yesterday, see how it hung beneath VWAP, and you could take this consolidation break. That's what I want to do after the opening range is done. You know, very, very obvious sort of entries as opposed to just trying to, like, it's going up, I'm just going to buy it somewhere. But yeah, we did have SMCI in the notes, so we traded it to the long side, but we're in and out. Dinkelberg saying Hims took the blue pill. What does that? I don't know what that means with regards to trading. I know in general sense the whole red pill, blue pill, but yeah, Hims making a bit of a bounce here today. I suppose that's going to mean good things. Maybe? I don't know. But I can tell you, Hims, I don't want to jinx this, but when it made the dip, we kind of said, give it a couple of days to prove that it can hold the low. Well, this is now 3 days since, and the good news right now is it has held the bottom again here on Hims. So pretty positive, less negative look, let's just say, because it hasn't really, it's been able to hold these levels. It hasn't been able to close at any fresh highs. Like, it's still closing lower than the previous day. So, and obviously the next step is you want to see it close above or close green after holding the low. But then I think it makes way more sense to take a shot at a long because you've got a higher close, you've got a little momentum, and then you've got a level that you can stop it under where it's proved it can bounce a couple of times. So for me, I wouldn't take a shot at this yet. I'd need to wait to see where it closes today and then put a trade on tomorrow for myself. But yeah, congratulations. If you're day trading this and you got the long, like, obviously it's done well for you. So no hate there, all love. Good luck with Hims the rest of the day, everybody.
Yeah, we did just have gas, I guess.
Nat gas?
Yeah, nat gas come out.
I mean, yeah, unless you're looking at oil.
Yeah, probably not a big to-do there at all. But what is a big to-do? And we're just, we had tweeted this out already about 154, and it's just a monster trade now. Now we're almost 250 in the money now on Nvidia. So, oh man, trading is so much fun. What's up, Adara?
What's up here is not really Bitcoin here, so we're going to do our crypto update here. Lower highs, lower lows on the daily chart of BTC. And as you can see, kind of stalling at the 108,000 level despite 3 strong days to the upside. Let's see if we're able to eclipse that 108,000 because right now, this does look like it might be a bit of a temporary area of resistance. Currently trading around 107.3. COIN, of course, on watch today as a CRCL. A lot of these crypto-related stocks still really strong. In case you missed it yesterday, Bernstein hit Coinbase with a street high price target of $510. So they see a lot more upside. Let's see if the market agrees. Here is just our list of some crypto names here. Bitcoin, like I said, pretty flat on the day. Ethereum continuing to actually outperform Bitcoin right now, trading above that 2,400 level and up 1.5% in the day. Solana down 1.5%. Dogecoin and Cardano both down about 3%. So what we're seeing here is Ethereum a little bit stronger than some of these other names, and the other one's a little bit weaker than Bitcoin here. Mixed performance once again between these different, I guess, entities. Back to you.
Well, we don't know a lot of.
All right. Apparently, I didn't get the blue pill thing. Whatever. I don't use them. So what? Yeah. I guess it makes obvious sense to everyone that made that joke. But what also was going is finally breaking and holding 125 is Micron. Remember I said I was looking for a trend break at this price level? Well, there's your trend break. Not really going to chase it. Try to get it back through 125. We'll see if we can't get a little dip. I can go maybe a little further away, but not too far on this bad boy. Holy, SMCI is at 49 and going to break. SMCI might see 50 today. Sheesh, that thing is absolutely nuts. It might see the 50 level. There isn't any size on SMCI at 49 that I can see that's significant, so it's not like you're running into any top head resistance that's going to scare anybody away. I still want to pick up this trend break on MEU, so I'm going to leave it here for a second. But SMCI continues to go. They're not really even, like the sells are not holding. Like all these candles are getting bought up right away on this bad boy. So it did like 10% yesterday or 9, 4.5 again as the squeeze is on with SMCI. I still want Micron. If we can pick it up here in front of 125, we'll play this one into the volume weighted average price, so long as we're able to get it.
All right. Yeah, for me, it's kind of like the same old here. We could talk about a recent swing trade of ours. We're long Marvell at 64.90 or something like that. Marvell today, $80, up another 5%. Goes MRVL. And I was on the way in today. I was thinking, like, what do I need to buy more of? Yesterday, we bought more Nasdaq, just the key, excuse me, just the Qs. But I was like, I got to add to this Marvell because AMD is ripping, and I like Marvell more. And I thought there's more to go on this name, which is why we bought it before earnings. That was a little bit of a silly play because we bought it right here at $64, and then it went down into 60, and now 80, just weeks after we had done that. So we're really happy with the performance, but I did want to buy some more, and I guess I should have maybe just. I mean, even if I bought it at open, we're still where we were at open. We had that dip down into 77. I mean, to be sitting there, again, hosting the show, but I wasn't sitting there. So if Marvell does have a dip, I think I'm going to try to get some more shares into Marvell if available. DraftKings is another name that we've been holding and waiting for pops. And, you know, today, down 1%, but look at this move that we've had on DraftKings recently. And again, kind of like that Uber talk again, you're running into some levels there that you're debating, what should have I done up there at $44. So we were just there the other day, down a little bit today. I think one upgrade, or again, a positive story for draft. I mean, but it could also come the other way, right? Something like that. We had ASML for some reason. We saw that they got downgraded today. So anything could happen to DraftKings at any time. But one good story, I think we do break above this 45 area and then really get going on DraftKings, possibly back up to some of these highs that we had seen just sort of pre-tariff there as the market broke out. The market's already broken out. It's just waiting for some other names. And we had a dip buy opportunity in Eli Lilly over the last couple of days as well, and that's up today or not? Yeah, flattish today. So Eli Lilly, there's a dip buy back into 750 where we had bought. We had switched out of Google and got some more Eli Lilly. That seems to be working out a little bit there. CYN, wow, congratulations, Mr. Westermeyer. I know you're long this name, and you know, Tisha and everybody else there in the chat that is all about CYN, because that's 4 or 5 halts there today. And now finally starting to pull back. So if you are on this name, just watch out, man. You could get this rug pulled, obviously, at any time. It was kind of pulled right there at 21, back down to 15, and you were probably questioning life. But it did make a move all the way back up. I would just be getting out if we broke through $20.50. So that would be something to look at there. And it looks like there it is right now. So there it goes. So $20.50. You did have a chance to get out there at $20.50. I hope you did, because right now you're halting to the downside. So yeah, it might not be fun there. Just gave you an out. I hope that was there. And if not, maybe try to punch out right now. But it looks like we are starting to halt the other side right now on CYN, as in, we're going to throw it to Neil in a second, but Nvidia, still that $2. I'm going to take one more piece out. We still have a decent size on. We have, like I said, 7%. We just got out again. Now we have officially 6% left on Nvidia. So, hey, man, the trades are pretty good. Let's just see what Neil's up to.
Well, right now, you can find out where CYN is going to open with eSignal, because you could have the bounce locator up on that and see where it's going to go up or down or around. And eSignal is going to give you that and more. And it's going to do it for free for 1 month.
Yeah.
First month free with eSignal. So whether it's just simple market access to look at level 2, to be able to trade through multiple brokers, I believe over 30 brokers they have there, the API access, you can automate your trades, back testing, forward testing, all of the indicators you could possibly want or imagine. It's a reliable platform as well. Data's up. I actually can't remember a time where there was ever an outage with eSignal. You can have your own internet go down, but I can't think of a time that they went down, to be honest with you guys, as I'm trying to rack my brain. But look, if you want to try them out, like I said, the first month is free, so nothing to lose. It's got everything you're going to want. You can look at CYN's price history, as I'm doing right now, or simply you can test out all these indicators that are available to you. Scan that QR code. Link is in the description. And just for everyone, just a final note on CYN, it's actually giving you an indicated open just underneath, or at 19 now. It's just underneath 19, but it's indicating an open to the downside, which is something you can use the imbalance locator for to get an idea. Like if you're in the money, out of the money, maybe you'll say, okay, well, because of that, I want to take market on open wherever it happens to print. If you were short, because it's opening down. But if it was opening up, maybe you change your mind. I don't know. I'm just sort of letting you guys know that you wanted to use information to the best of your abilities, and eSignal gives it for you. So Micron's the only new thing that I got into. SMCI did tag 49. There was like, I don't know, like kind of some shares there at 49 even. It was nothing overwhelming, like nothing like you would see on Nvidia, but at least the first pullback, like it did dip there like 30 or 40 cents off of that level. Well, I'm into Micron on this trend break, looking for it to get into the volume weighted average price. I tried to grab some more at this prior, let me zoom it in for you. I tried to grab some more at this prior high when it held support. That was at 125.40. I put my border at 42. I didn't get the fill, but I'd still like to get picked up there. I like the half. I like VWAP on that name. And then for everybody looking at that SMCI, it just seems like it runs into these walls, but then doesn't really pull back all that much. So there was a wall at 48.5 on the offer. Now you got a little bit of one just underneath 49. Might just be take a shot in front of 48.5 and respect what it's doing here. And if it ends up being like a 50-cent scalp trade into 49, why not? I'd prefer that than a breakout at 1040. I like breakouts in the morning or breakouts like past 12:30, maybe like 1 o'clock, 1:30 is a little bit better. I don't like breakouts at this time of day. So I'm going to go for the dip buy here at the $0.50 on SMCI to get back in on the trend. And then we're going to go to Adara for Sector Watch.
Yeah.
Here's this pretty green sector board. Electronic technology really strong with a couple exceptions. Micron on earnings and also Apple down almost 1% right now. Nvidia and Broadcom, though, really strong as Nvidia continues to dominate the market. They have reclaimed the top market cap spot, usurping Microsoft here. Speaking of Microsoft and Meta both green here on technology services. Actually, a lot of those names in the sector are pretty strong, including Oracle and Netflix as well. Finance a little bit more mixed, though. JPM to the upside here. Health technology has some strength. Intuitive Surgical notably up 3%. Consumer services, producer manufacturing, energy, minerals, transportation, health services, industrial services, all strong. It's hard to find any weakness, so there are a couple major names here that are red or flat, including PG and consumer durables, and communications all flat or red as well. Back to the guys.
All right, thanks, Adara, for that recap there. I was actually distracted for a second there, so missed part of that. I did want to go over and look at JP Morgan really quickly right now. Look, I mean, let's go. There we go, man. We've been sort of pumping the tires of this for a while, man. It's JP Morgan. It's fantastic, to be honest with you, as it just continues to make new highs, new all-time highs right there for JPM. So yeah, so far so good as we continue to watch this name break out again. And you know, it's sector-wide in the banking. You know, Goldman Sachs. We talked about this yesterday. We had to look at some different names, right? Goldman, Look at the chart here on Goldman, Morgan. I mean, they're all, I don't know, I haven't looked at too many Canadian banks lately, but all of these names are popping. So, you know, continues to be a good, successful trade there. This is, and I irresponsibly bought too many shares of JP Morgan, so I was pretty happy with some of this move to the high side again, but the banking sector continues to work, man. And there it goes. There's the all-time high break right there of 280. And now you get more, right? It's the same reason why we're on Nvidia today. It's breaking all-time high. We wrote down 280 on JP Morgan, I think it was Monday or something, didn't get the break. Don't trade it as obviously as much as all the tech names, but that's working out just fine there for JP Morgan. And then of course Robinhood, again another big name that we'll continue to look at here all the time on the show, up another 1.2%, pulling back from its highs yesterday. But hey man, if that's a pullback, then we'll take it. Up 1%, a little bit of a pullback yesterday, down I think $2 for Robinhood. And then the name that I'm in that I'm going to be out of soon is SoFi. SoFi is making that huge move up again as well. You're almost into a range, man. I may just tap out on SoFi at some point soon, because again, do I like the stock? Yes, I do. But we're getting into some levels there where SoFi is a double from those April bottoms. We talked about Micron and all of that. And again, SoFi normally goes down after earnings. So we're going to find
heavily
out,
usually.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll find out like when that is there, and we'll figure it out. But right there for SoFi, generally a downside player off of earnings. And if I'm going to look up earnings, because we have time, man, we don't need to rush around here too much. SOFI. So Neil's, we're both in the long the chip space, so not too creative, but that's what we're doing today. SoFi right there, the earnings calendar right here. Their next earnings call would be 2025 July, it looks like. So July 29th. So we still have quite a ways before their Q2 number comes out for SoFi. So
Sell it the day before.
Yeah,
it's been money selling SoFi before their earnings. Or the problem is if it's up earnings, you want to sell it on the gap, so you want to wait till the earnings. But if I don't know whether the earnings will be good or bad, then I don't know what to do. So I'll look at the chart in a second, but just very quickly here. I mean, Micron's holding up a little bit better, but I said I'd go for this trend hold on not Micron. It was a trend break on Micron. Trend hold on SMCI if it doesn't give me the dip all the way back into VWAP. So I went for it, but the second it breaks down underneath the trend, I'm not going to hold it. Generally speaking, sometimes I'd short a move like this, but I'll be satisfied to take the shot and then wait for the better opportunity, which I think comes lining up. It actually just works out this way. The pre-market high is now the volume-weighted average price, so that'd be the next place that I would look. All right, so SoFi, as I was just sort of saying here, the thing about the reason why I'm I already sold some of this maybe a little bit early underneath the 15 level. But if we get to 18 before this happens, before their earnings, I would take some out. And then if on earnings, usually it'll be whether good, bad, up, down, and around, it pulls back. So if it pulls back off the highs, you can always just get back in after earnings. That makes some sense. Daniel T, is there any ideas on Rivian? Sorry. Not really. Like Rivian, I haven't really been touching this for a while because it's not doing anything. Like I don't have the poke me button. Like I've got He-Man, I've got like all the other ones. I don't have the poke me.
I have to do something.
Like what are we doing here? There we go. There we go. And we're not doing anything. What could happen is maybe you start breaking away from the 50 period and then you get something working back into the highs. But the jam on this has been to wait for 10 to 11 bucks, sell it when it breaks 15 even. And that's more or less it. I mean, you could maybe trade this off the 50 period moving average when it eventually breaks away. But what's it doing here? It's just riding this thing with no end in sight. So I don't really see an idea for Rivian today. I know it's looking pretty strong here today. You can probably day trade this pretty well. Oh, yuck. Ooh, actually, no, not yuck. I didn't see this part here. No, this is actually, hey, that's a breakout today. So forget about the long term or the swing trade on Rivian and maybe just look at this breakout. 14 and zoom it out. When in doubt, zoom out. Maybe you find something. 14.14, today's high is also the high from the 16th. And look for that breakout here on Rivian. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Why not? I can't see a reason not to look at that trade for later on. Even if you just scalp the break here, like it's not going to move that much. It's Rivian. You get 20 pennies out of it. No problem.
Yeah, definitely.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's why we always talk about it's all about the share size. Like you can, if you're going to hit with a few more shares, then you can take 20 cents on Rivian and make your day like that. Like no problem. You don't need to be trading these major cap names, and that's why I basically called up SoFi to everyone's attention. Was like check out SoFi. Have a look to see what that's doing, and definitely an opportunity here to get going on that. Oh, no, Mirek, you're talking about Big Bear AI? Please, man, stop. We're having, oh, wow, okay. Another 13% here today for Big Bear AI. And just trying to look at what we had seen yesterday, right? Yesterday was a little bit of a, sick day for Big Bear AI because it opened up and then just fell, pretty much the rest of the day, and then finally catching a little bit of a bid at the close. We actually had that run at the close, which was pretty good there for Big Bear AI, right into there. We bought some 470s and we got out in that 490 area right there at the close. Remember, we were like, it's not as bad as it could have been yesterday on this name, but today you're seeing it another bump up, still 28 to 29% short, but it's slowing down. So we've seen it just, I don't know, like I haven't traded it that much. This is a name that we have in the longer term account, but you know, it has these moves and then it kind of just will fade out. Like it seems like the afternoon, although yesterday didn't really do much, it did wind up going up. But I'm just wondering if it's slowing down a little bit here. You know, yesterday or the day before, we had some nice action here at that 550 level. So maybe that's going to be a top. And if you are going to go short, I would definitely stop out at 553 right there, which is the day's high on Big Bear AI. And then there's $5. Like that is perfect. For a day trade, I really enjoy seeing a 200 and a 50 period when you have the double-barreled support. So down into there for Big Bear AI, I think that's a strong look as well for that. Apple, we talked about how easy that short was. But again, I hate sitting here like talking about trades because anybody can look at a chart and be like, wow, that 200 period was great. You have to have your eyes on it, right? And so that right there coming back up to 201, that's something that we want to look for again. So maybe if you really do like these kind of trades, then you would wait for the 200 period again and put your order there, like at $200, and even if you put your order at $200.50, therefore when it was started to rip higher, you would get like 5% of your fill there, but then at least it would trigger. And that's some of the stuff that sometimes helps me, is that when something triggers in your account, then it's like, okay, I see that trade coming in. I mean, that's sort of what happened with Nvidia, but we got involved with Nvidia a little bit earlier. I thought that maybe this 154.50 was going to be the stop, but then eventually when it came back in, we had our 154.20 25 hit, that we had sitting there from the pre-market. Then when that hit, we were like, okay, it's on now like Donkey Kong. And then we started to buy it. And as we said, it's your trade of the day with Nvidia. So brought to you by Prop XP. Scan that QR code right there. Yeah, there it is. So free advertising there, but your trade of the day on Nvidia here at Trader TV Live, brought to you by Prop XP and the sticky note and patience, right? We talk about that, right? So you got to have patience. So thank you, Mike DeRider there. We're trying to be and are the #1 day trading show on YouTube. So we want to thank everybody for making that possible. And just a quick little check on likes here before we go over to Adara and talk about money talks. We talked about the DXY yesterday. Look, man, a little disappointing. Only 8,200 viewers, which is fine. We had over close to 11,000, I think, for the first half hour or so. Once we got going there, 9:30 to 10. We need to get a little more likes on this one. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Do it for Adara, who's up now with Money Talks.
The U.S. dollar is a bit of a sad case right now. We did have some Fed speakers, including Fed Chair Jerome Powell, during his testimony this week for the House, saying that, you know, the U.S. dollar certainly is as strong as it has been in the past, but it's still the #1 reserve currency. We are now on a 4-day losing streak, and we've broken below any recent support for the DXY. Let's see if we can hold on to this 97 level, because if not, we're plummeting here. And for context, we have not been this low since February 2022. We are at over 3-year lows for the U.S. dollar, as far as I can tell. So definitely pretty weak, to say the least. Let's see if we're able to, I guess, turn this streak around, or if Friday marks another red day for that U.S. dollar. Let's talk right now about this Fed watch tool. What are we expecting for rates? We have a really interesting thing here for July. I mean, we were expecting a rate cut in September, of course. That is very much priced in across the board. Right now, only 6% of participants are expecting a hold in September. But I want to talk about July, because July could be a bit of a game changer. We had a couple different people during Fed Chair Powell's testimony for Congress and for Senate. Some people asked, why didn't you cut rates in July 2024 as opposed to the 50 basis point cut in September? So with that in mind, if people are expecting him to cut in September, now it's possible he could also cut in July. It's also complicated by the fact that the Fed has been really mixed on this. We know Waller and Bowman, both of which are Fed governors, and Bowman's actually the vice chair. They made it very clear they're okay with a July cut. A lot of other Fed speakers, including Fed Chair Jerome Powell, have suggested that they want to wait for more data. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there, much like the Fed. But I want to mention how choppy this has been, because one of my favorite aspects of this tool, as I've talked about, is that you could actually see how the probabilities have changed. So a month ago, we had 75% of participants expecting a hold. 1 week ago, it was 87.2%. Yesterday, it was 75. Now it's 73. So it's been really waffly. People are really unsure what we're going to get in July. We don't know yet, but certainly stay tuned, because I think whatever this meeting is, it's certainly going to be a spicy one. Back to you.
Yeah, spicy. Like, here's the thing. The Fed hasn't haven't given us anything at these meetings, but like each one, as we get closer to the end of the year, it just gets a little more interesting because the likelihood that we actually have something happen, it gets a little bit higher. I kind of roll my eyes because there's plenty of happening. It's just not the Fed that's going to be the. It just hasn't been. It's been a nothing burger the last couple of times. I think we get back into more excitement on Fed days in the back half of the year for sure, which we're headed into. So there's a lot of. Micron's probably headed to VWAP, but I'll tell you exactly what happened here. The first time we bought the dip, I observed something at 126 that I thought was happening again. So essentially it was breaking 126. Someone was swiping it down and then like essentially crossing the bid with a little bit of size and then taking it all the way back into the bid. And then it did the first swipe again at 126. I'm like, okay, it's happening again. I'm just going to punch out and then we'll get back in on the bid. It didn't happen. I think somebody did the whole game where if you're really long, big, traders have, like big whale traders have done this before. They're long a huge size, but what they'll do when it's in a consolidative thing to be able to build into more is they'll swipe a small portion down, causing it to go back down, and other people will sell, and then they'll just be buying up more, and then at some point they'll swipe higher. And then so what happens here, and then it gets people to say, oh, this is what's happening. I can just scalp 50 cents and then get back in on trend. They don't do it the second time, and then you get the rally. I think maybe that's what happened there. So yeah, I probably got fooled out of getting out of that for 50 cents when it's going to go $1, but you never know. The market's going to go higher. Just remember Micron's a weak stock after earnings. Ultimately, like I don't love, like that's an ugly looking chart on Micron, but it did hold the level we wanted. I probably don't want anything but the long off here into here or so, like 127, 127.5 or VWAP. I think it's kind of like a one and done for me if we don't get this really quickly back on the bid, everybody. That's not a very good looking chart after earnings. I go for the 3-day rule with this for sure before really liking the long. Another one which is trying to get going is AMD. I know someone in the chat, I think it was Rivian Millionaire, was like, oh, you missed a short on AMD through the volume weighted average price. Well, I wasn't thinking short on the chips, and I'm still not really thinking short on the chips. I'd be much more interested in trying some breakouts or going bullish because the longer trend on AMD is up. The market's trying to break out the top. I'd rather see this break the volume weighted average price, hold a consolidation, and then break right here at 144.5. So yeah, I get it. Maybe the short's going to end up working out, but I'm not thinking short right now. I'm looking for long entries, whether I can get back in SMCI on a dip, maybe we can pick that Micron back up, or even if AMD wants to join the party, breaking 144.5. That's what I want to pay attention to. It's only 5 minutes to go. CYN. It's going into, never mind. The halt band just hit it. It's a 25.82 is the current price, is actually a potential halt to the upside. So this thing is continuing to. Kind of a happy accident. I was going to hit one of the other keys, but that's fine. That works out just as well. So it's halting to the upside on CYN. Immediately the tap goes to 26 and change. So this one continues to go. And remember, this is they got to deal with Nvidia. Sometimes with the small cappers, like when these biotech ones have a good headline, I have no idea whether how good that is or not. And I just sort of I'll say gobbledygook, yada, 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 pharma, and then we'll talk about the chart. But in this particular case, it's a deal in partnership with Nvidia. We've seen that have a good rally before. So I went over to SMCI instead of really getting the bottom on Nvidia, but guess what just tagged VWAP? I've had the chart up the whole way. Nvidia just tagged VWAP for the, whoops, what happened there? Here we go. Just tagged VWAP for the first time since with an actual consolidation. So yeah, it looks like this is going to be a VWAP hold, ideally. Close this bar. You got to close the bar above the volume weighted average price for me on the 3-minute, and then I'm going to take a secondary shot. I mean, it'll be literally like the third or fourth time I've had Nvidia, but the first time above the 155 zone at the volume weighted average price. Let's go to Adara before we come back to our favorite segment.
Yeah.
So much to our friends at Ogen for sponsoring this portion of the show that is Oragenics. And each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., but there's still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Oragenics, or OGEN, is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. And with the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Orgenex is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. Back to you.
I'm rejected 160 bad again.
All right. Another exciting read there from Adara. All right, so that's great. All right. Yeah, yesterday, we posted this up yesterday. We had a nice little chicken breast. It was given a 7.5. And we got slaw, and we've got some salad. I was going to say lettuce. It basically is just lettuce with like a nice little lemon vinaigrette. So we're going to find out today, though, what is for lunch? So today, what is for lunch? Ooh, all right. This segment lives on even if I am not here. So hopefully tomorrow's what's for lunch. I already see what it is. Should be good. Today's not bad. We're always looking for Taco Tuesday. Today is Thursday. So we'll go with beef fajita.
Why'd you psych me up?
Thursday. Right there. Yeah, that was a little bit of a psych out, but it's in the same vein. I know beef fajitas.
For the record,
normally,
I have seen the salad and the chicken looks exactly the same as yesterday's. And you guys we'll debate if this is the thing. Right now, it looks like we got twin chickens from yesterday. Same seasoning.
All right. Well, nothing wrong with having twin chickens. It was given a 7.5. But what the main menu will get today is beef fajita with Mexican rice with some toppings of sour cream, shredded cheese, green onions, diced tomatoes. I would put some jalapenos in there for myself, a little bit spicy.
That's what I'm saying.
Right there. And then there it is again, garden salad. And then as I nailed it yesterday, someone in the chat asked, what was that vinaigrette? And I was like, lemony. Today's garden salad with lemon citrus vinaigrette. So, yeah, I guess we'll be getting the chicken again. That's fine. The chicken was pretty good. You know, chicken and salad, honestly, for me is
that's the go-to.
Basically, like a perfect lunch. I'd take that all the time. My favorite food group, of course, though, is sandwiches.
Yeah. Well, I'm a super simple man. Yeah. I don't enjoy cooking. Like if I'm like in university, I remember we got a grill off the street. Like somebody,
I had a George Foreman grill.
You had a good. Somebody on Zane Street was Philip. No, not Philip. Lester.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you didn't go to Waterloo Laurier, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But there was a perfectly working barbecue that was just out in the trash one day, and as a student, we're like, "Are you crazy?"
Respect.
So we snagged that up, and all of a sudden, for like the last 3 years 2.5 years of uni, we had a barbecue.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't doing that, man, I was lazy as you know what. I was like chicken on salad,
really, Nate.
pork and beans, I'm sorry, man. Like it's a student life.
Yeah, I'm not same.
But like
spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah,
but
so you'd level up when you had the burgers on the grill, man, and that was legit. Except my roommate.
Look, food is the taste of life, right? I mean, that's the thing.
He wants to burn everything. You can't let that dude on the grill.
Oh no, yeah.
He likes everything is well done with that dude. But my roommate's a great dude. It's just he likes everything well done. I have no idea where that comes from because I'm very much the opposite. But
I love cooking. Like yesterday we had, like I told you, man, we barbecued up that filet mignon. My kids are getting much better at what they will and won't eat.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's very, very big
I'm not
for
there
us.
yet.
So now when the wife asked me what we're having for dinner, it's easier because our kids are easier. Now 560 right now. Congratulations for all the biggest of the bears out there. It's Big Bear AI time. There it is, another move higher. So yeah, we're in a great mood here today again, not just because of the PAs, but we had some great trades kicking. We also have Webull back up today again now as well. So all these past things that we've been buying, we were in a bull market, so the long should be working. Thanks, Neil. It was a great day today. I hope you guys all enjoyed the show. All right, I'm out of here.
It's gonna break 30.
I'm gonna be going over to some hit the pool again, and then because I won't be there tomorrow or over the weekend, so we're going to do it again right
Will you get Mad Steps coaching?
Go look at, yes. Yeah, I'll be running around. Yeah. And my voice will probably be an epic fail come Monday, so get ready for that. But I'm hoping for the 2 games on Sunday. We've got a game tonight, which is House League, and then a game tomorrow, which is the Rep, 2 on Saturday, and then 2 on Sunday. But it's all about the pitch count. Neil and I talked about that. We'll be back in the afternoon to talk about fun dad stuff. But for right now, it's the Bro Show. Get your hair wax ready. See you guys. It's Sharif and Joe.
Go see
Let's go. Chest hair wax.